Liked by the sound of violence.
There was some casualties on the card, Chris Weidman's leg, and there was some casualties outside of the cage as well. And one of those was the former host of this show, Conor Rebush, who unfortunately passed away in shock and horror after Valentina Shevchenko surprisingly managed to beat Jessica Andrade.
Mm-hmm. An upset that shocked the world and really, rocked Conor to his core. Yeah. We all saw it coming, really, but you still hate to see it.
Yeah, so apparently, he had one last meal from Denny's, washed down some sleeping pills with some Mountain Dew, kissed his Wheel of Time figurines goodnight, and then just...
What up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. That's me just flipping bottle caps across the room when I open it and pouring this. I am Pulver, and I'm here with my co-host, Chris Medaffer, for yet another episode. How's it going, man?
I am not high like you probably saw me last.
Not as high, at least, for sure.
As high, yeah. Even though I think I did give a warning saying I was a lightweight and this is really heavy stuff, and I just kind of went with it. So
also, big shouts to Outco, which you were smoking that weekend. And Outco is actually one of the older cannabis, locally grown cannabis spots here in San Diego that I actually haven't tried before. So it's pretty tight that you were able to give that a review, because I might drive out to East County and get some.
Yeah, it's been making me sleep really well, so that's my positive feedback. It's been good.
Yeah. Mostly been using the Eagle Scout, or how's the other one?
No, so the caked up cherries, that's the very heavy indica, or at least for me, the heavy indica. And then the Eagle Scout's just like a decent hybrid, slightly indica dominant. Like, I didn't feel tired. I was just kind of chilling.
Hell yeah, brother.
It was nice, man. I mean, especially with that deal that I got.
Yeah, cookies with coming through with the fucking flavors and the deals.
Two eighths for $44, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that shit. Wait, was that out the door prices, or was that pre-tax? That was pre-tax, right?
Yeah, it was probably pre-tax.
So it was probably like 54-ish, 60 maybe. Still though, out the door for $60 with 2 eighths is fucking fire. So I fucks with it, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Well, I guess we should get into our actual what we would refer to, what we still refer to as our Popov Vodka presents Doug Stanhope presents our podcast sponsors, which are super real and definitely not fake. Chris, I heard you. That's what I forgot to do, is tweet out the link to this show, which I'm doing right now. Chris, I heard you are drinking something on this week.
I am. This one's really good. I kind of just stopped by the liquor store and went on Untapped and said, what's trending? I'll give a shout out to a beer that I already finished.
Wait, which liquor store? Shout them out.
Jimbo's, of course.
Oh, you got to, dude. That's a Claremont staple, right next to also near owned by Par Liquor.
Yeah.
But right by Balboa Tap House, which is maybe low key my favorite like hole in the wall drinking spot. Those dudes are so good to me.
No, those dudes are awesome.
Actually,
yeah,
also
they've asked about you before too.
Really? Oh,
Recently,
hell yeah! I need to go back. I'm not in Claremont anymore, but now that I'm in PB and now that I'm vaxxed, I'm gonna be showing up again for sure. And also, that's where we saw Danny Downs, former MMA fighter and CME favorite as well. So big shouts to Bevo Tap House. They are definitely some. They also have fights on too. If you guys are like, they have fights on to the level where we watched Luis Firmino versus or Luis Palomino versus Gaethje 2 and 1. Actually, I saw both of those in that bar. So hell yeah.
So the first IPA that I tried a couple days ago, I don't have it with me because I finished the 6-pack. It was I don't know if it's a new release or limited release from Modern Times, but the cans were 12-ounce size, which I've never seen with Modern Times, when it's not their coffee at least. It was a very, very good West Coast IPA called Dungeon Map. And there was like 4 different hops. I think it was like Euconaut, Citra, Amarillo, and like Simcoe.
Euconaut.
Yeah, but it was very good. Solid IPA. Comes in the orange and purple can. Highly recommend. And then the beer I have today is a collaboration between Pizza Port and El Segundo. It's called a Rippin' Bear.
Oh, dude! Wait, Ripping. Oh shit! Wait, that's different than the one I had from them because they had they've done a couple.
This is just it just says India Pale Ale, 7.2 ABV. I'll have to look on Untappd to see what's inside, but it's solid.
Hell yeah, man! That's what's up. They did another. It's not the early the porter, right? They didn't do. Is the porter also El Segundo? The bacon eggs?
El Segundo, I think I've had a couple of their beers. I remember.
No. I mean another port because they've done another crossover that I've had on this show.
Shit.
It might have been. I think it's the one with the bird on it. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah. Well, anyway, they've done a bunch of very good. I think it was an IPA actually, not the because it's not the bacon eggs and. No, it's a different one. So I think it was another IPA. But yeah, they do very good collabs with El Segundo, and El Segundo is low key fire. Like El Segundo is like on the pure project level of not a lot of people talk about them necessarily, but they're very, very good.
Yeah, I know. I think I've had 2 beers. I can't remember. I think I had like a Mexican lager that they did, and then I tried the Steve Austin beer, which was a decent.
That
IPA.
was the other one. Yeah. That was not one of my favorites, but then again, it's a Texas dude making a beer. It's a California place, and like, I don't know.
They probably made something amazing. He's like, nah, it's too much.
Yeah, I didn't expect much from it. Although, actually, I think I gave you that beer. I think I was the one that brought that beer to your pad, if I remember right, for that one party. Way back prior to COVID. R.I.P. Actually, yeah, although I did get vaxxed. So I should mention, we are delayed this week because I did get vaxxed on Sunday. Thought I was going to have effects, so I put off Sunday's recording. And turns out, I just tanked that shit. All I felt was like my arm a little weird. Didn't even notice anything else at all. I was a little hungover, so maybe that could be attributed to part of why I didn't notice it. But I mean, if I was hungover and I was vaxxed,
well, you think you had COVID in January, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think we talked about this when I got back from Knott's back in January 2020, because girlfriend Karen and I went to Knott's, and then we found out that same weekend, like as the day or the night before we left Anaheim, we saw a news report where it was like, 6 new cases of COVID-19 in Anaheim. I was like, I was in a bunch of indoor spaces at Knott's Berry Farm today, so that's probably not good. And I just bought a giant fucking chicken meal from the place there, so... And I went to like 3 breweries, and I was in the giant indoor market, the Anaheim Packing District market.
I mean, you were just willy-nilly walking around.
Well, dog, it was January 2020. Everybody's willy-nilly. Life was willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And then, then I couldn't smell anything for like a whole solid week and a half outside of the hot buttered rums I was making with overproof rum just to make sure I could still breathe. So yeah. So, although I've heard plenty of people who did have, like, girlfriend Karen got I think she got Moderna, but she definitely felt the second shot. And I think I've heard other people with Pfizer who did have it, mine's not confirmed because again it was 2 months before anybody knew, but definitely a weird one. Anyway, we should keep on moving on to actually get to some podcast stuff, Chris. You mentioned the beer you're drinking. Are you smoking on anything this week?
Nah, not this week.
Well, I am, and I'm drinking on stuff because I got to keep it funky and tropical. I am drinking on a beer that girlfriend Karen got me actually right before the episode, which I think I'd heard of it, but I have not tried it because I've not been seeking out new stone beers for a while. Because a lot of them were, are very accessible to me, and I've had a lot of them. But somehow this one slipped by me. It's the Exotic Destinations IPA, which is one of their newer ones, I believe. It is described as a hop-fueled journey, 7.5%. You fuckers, you have to write a whole page instead of just telling me.
I just noticed at least it's not upside down.
Yeah, they left this stone turned, you know what I'm saying? Citra and HBC 692 are concierge on the journey, bringing along vivid notes of tropical fruit, tangerine, and berry. It's actually one of the beers that I've liked the most out of Stone for a while now. It's like a combination of old school Stone with like a very, weirdly enough, kind of like almost like weedy, purpley, like berry note on the IPA. It's very good. It's like way less on the grapefruit side of tropical, and it's way more on the like berry side of tropical. It's very good.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I haven't had a Stone beer in a while, but I'm definitely going to check that one out.
Well, you say that, but you probably have, but like not a new one, right?
Yeah, I think my fallback, usually always lately, if I'm in the mood for it, is just definitely Choco Vesa, because I think it's like year-round now.
Yeah, Choco Vesa is so fire. It's their Mexican chocolate stout, and it's so drinkable. And it's like 8% secretly somehow.
I know, yeah.
it's like low-key
I'm pretty sure
hard as fuck.
Each year they do something different with that. I remember 2020 was they added like some sort of I think serrano peppers or some fire. It was good. Spicy.
They've been doing blends of that stuff for a while, and yeah, it's always interesting. But yeah, this is super fire. I'm actually this is like one of my favorite beers they've made in a while. So I might actually go down and pick up a growler or something to this. And then I am also going to open finally. I think I mentioned this last week that March and Ash hooked me up with like a 50% discount for a slow. 420 order, which was not slow. I mean, I guess it's slow for them. It was like a couple hours, but it wasn't that bad. But they hooked it up with a 50% discount off the entire goddamn store, so I picked up a, what is this? This is a quad of smalls from Alien Labs, their Crypto Chronic, which is supposed to be pretty goddamn fire. Alien Labs is always fire. I've mostly only gotten their outdoor, because their indoor is fucking $70+ like an eighth.
Oh shit!
And that is ridiculous pricing. But off the goddamn bat, these smalls are not the smallest. Like, this is a pretty decent size small. It's probably hard to. That looks small on camera. What do I have for scale? Here we go. So here's a lighter for scale. It's small, but that's not that small for a Smalls quad. And it's pretty goddamn fire. I know you can't see a goddamn thing. This is the Crypto Chronic, though.
Nice.
Pretty fuely. Definitely got some funk to it. Oh, man. I fucks with it. It is quite exotic. Shouts to Mark Fellows in chat, who I'm guessing is probably referring to the beer I'm drinking. But yes, the beer and the weed. We keep that shit exotic, dog. I'm like a goddamn West Coast Bay rapper up in this bitch, dropping the word exotic. So let's keep this shit moving. On that note, Chris, we are not a weed podcast or a beer podcast or a skateboarding podcast yet. But keep it up, MMA. We might be fucking on that note. Chris, you want to start us off with the MMA podcast you recommend to catch in the last whatever the fuck amount of time we've been? I think it's been like a week and a half. Because we're on a little bit of a weird schedule due to both of our setups and also this weekend's card being kind of trash. Also, full disclosure, I guess we should get into off the top. We're probably not going to be doing a show this weekend. My goal is to be editing our commentary that we did last, whatever day that was, Wednesday?
That was last Wednesday.
So yeah, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, because we're recording this on Tuesday night. I have to edit out the 400 times we said G6's real name in that episode, and I have to edit out all the times girlfriend Karen decided to try and whisper to me directly in front of the mic, which
That's
picked
funny.
up every single one of them. So that editing process is going to be a whole ass thing, which is why it's not out yet. But we do have a combat or a combat commentary of Mortal Kombat. The new version coming here in the near future, which my aim is to get that out this weekend. But since it's my birthday on Saturday, and I am not trying to watch Michelle Watterson fight Karolina Kowalkiewicz on my goddamn birthday.
No, she's fighting Marina Rodriguez. but
Sure.
Yeah, the same
Oh,
thing.
so better Karolina Kowalkiewicz? That doesn't... Cool. The UFC would book Michelle Watterson on my birthday. That's the kind of relationship I feel like I have with the UFC at this point. Ugh, I'm surprised Holly Holm's not on that fucking card. Anyway, on that note, it's gonna be a weird week of coverage. This is like a weird in between kind of episode. So I've listened to a bunch of stuff, but honestly, it's been kind of slow over the last week or week and a half. How about what are your feelings on it, Chris?
It's been slow, for sure.
I mean, everything's just talking 261 or like addressing how lackluster the next two cards are, right?
Yeah, I'm actually, if you want me to start with my catch, I'm going to be ironic and actually not talk MMA, but this is definitely combat sports related.
Well, you know what? I feel like that's a perfect segue after I hit this bowl for you to segue into the your catch this week, since I did happen to see you put it on the notes page. So, why don't you get into Home of the Toad, the podcast you're about to talk about?
Yeah, so I listened to Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. I don't know what the episode number was because I listened to it on Spotify.
You. Actually, he might not number stuff.
I don't think he numbers them.
I don't think he does. I think he does guest.
Anyways, much preferred co-host, in my opinion.
Not Brendan Schaub?
Not Brendan Schaub.
Oh, so it's
Henry
listenable.
Cejudo. He's excellent.
So it's... Oh, really?
Well, he's not in character. It's just him, like being real.
Yeah, he's actually like...
he's cool. He's cool as shit. Like,
when he's not, when he's not in character, and when he's not being preachy, he's pretty dope. But it's very rare he doesn't do one of them.
Very knowledgeable with just a lot of boxers that grew up in the Olympic Games.
He loves boxing and also giant stoner Henry Cejudo. People don't talk about that a lot.
He sounded a little bit stoned.
No, that dude goes ham. Like he went hard with Mike Tyson on his episode. That dude smokes he smokes it like a fucking white kid from Arizona. This fucking for sure cop way to smoke joints. If I remember right. With this I think it was one of those over the where you do it you hold the joint the wrong way type of shit. But yeah, exactly. No. I think it was one of those. But yeah.
Anyways, the guest was, and I believe he is the 126-pound champion. Just young and gonna be better. Young up-and-comer champion, Shakur Stevenson, who fights out of, I think, Brooklyn or Long Island. But he's 5'8", he's 126.
You could have said Ghana and I would have believed you.
He's undefeated, I believe, last time I checked. I think it's like 19-0 or 20-something-0 with like...
also, I realized I probably shouldn't have said Ghana since I don't... this is probably not a white dude. I thought it was a white dude at first, but then I now realize his name's Shakur. It's probably not a white dude. My point is, I don't know shit about boxing.
I like this kid a lot. I saw one of his last fights from like a year ago. I believe he still has the record in WBC and WBA and WBO and all the different fight promotions or just organizations that have their own belts for being hit the least amount ever.
Oh shit, he's on some Willie Pep type stats.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather, Willie Pep, that kind of thing, whatever you want to call it, right?
I mean, the Willie Pep thing is kind of
this kid's got
but
lightning quick hands. He was discussing very humble, very polite, young stud boxer. Wants to eventually, move up in weight, fight some of the other guys like Ryan Garcia. He's talking about how he sparred with Terrence Crawford and even like some other current killers. They're even welterweights, like 140, 147. This kid's definitely got the right mindset. He's not distracted by really anything from the sounds of it. And Mike was talking about, of course, they had to, Cejudo was like, what do you think of, these YouTubers, right? That are trying to box. Shakur Stevenson's like, no, that's bullshit. Fuck all that.
Dan Tom jerkoff.gif.
Yeah. Shakur Stevenson.
I feel like,
no,
by the way, hold on, before I let you continue. Number one, I feel like out of context, that is a terrible thing to just throw out there. Like, it wasn't Dan Tom doing this motion, and it was actually Dan Tom beating off. Number two, if anybody has the Dan Tom this GIF right here, please tweet it to me, or else I'm going to have to just start sending out the one I'm doing right now, because it was one of my favorite GIFs of all time. And those of you who know, the person who I know who had that GIF is no longer around for good reason. So if anybody's got a tip on, that was a bad pun, where to get that GIF, let me know.
Yeah, once someone gets a handle on that GIF.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, Shakur's not about the whole YouTubers doing doxing. Mike Tyson is all about it, but for the reason being that he was just saying, oh, people are going to watch the sport now. You got to understand, Shakur. People watching boxing more than ever now. And it's like,
It's a very out-of-touch old dude way of thinking about sports, though.
Yeah, he was just saying boxing needs those assholes. That was Mike's.
Yeah, but, like, I still, to this day, argue that, like, I don't think it had any of that helps boxing or makes boxing a better or...
I think it's double-edged sword. It makes it better for the views and for the fighter pay and whatnot.
For single events, not for the sport.
But it's bad because then you get 11-year-old little fucking Johnny going, hey, Uncle Chris, you see that, YouTube star? He's a real boxer. I think he can beat up this guy. And it's like, oh, boy. And
even worse than that, I would argue it disincentivizes a lot of actual quality boxers coming up at a young age to even engage with the sport, because so many of them look at like, well, dude, honestly, it'd be way better if I just start a shithead YouTube page and then call out people, because it's way more effective than actually trying to be a decent boxer through the ranks, which is like so frustratingly true. And MMA just loves that bullshit.
I saw, and the only thing I'll say is on the one boxing card that we won't give any attention to, that's coming up very soon, unfortunately.
The Michael Jackson card?
Sure.
No, it's I heard the theme song is makes it the Michael Jackson card.
Then you're right.
Yeah.
Anyways, my point is, former NFL wide receiver Chad Johnson, who's like 40 now, apparently he's been training in boxing for the past 10 years.
More like no-cho Cinco, am I right?
Yeah. Anyways, enough of that. The only last boxing
I hate that joke. I hate football. I'm not happy that I
don't give a fuck about football, and since we don't have a team, football I just don't care.
Hey, I heard we doing good though.
Yeah.
I heard we had a good night. Or at least Twitter seemed to think we had a decent moment there for a little bit right before the show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Nothing didn't turn out good in the long run.
Yeah.
That's Chris not wanting to talk the sports he actually cares about. That was what that was. Go ahead.
Oh, it doesn't bother me. What I was going to say is, since there's really a lack of an interesting UFC or MMA card this weekend, there's Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders.
No, there isn't.
What?
Have you looked at Twitter?
Oh, is it already canceled?
So, the last I saw on Twitter, that...
Well, I saw it was a super spreader event. There's going to be like 50,000 people there.
Wow. Yeah, but so is the UFC event. That happened. But the last I heard was that...
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it's canceled.
I believe the last I heard was that let's see. According to Twitter, right now, Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders camp went back and forth, and the last I heard, that fight is off because of a dispute about ring size. I am not a boxing head, and I don't know or care that much, because Canelo's going to fuck up Billy Joe Saunders regardless, right?
I mean, yeah. I just wanted to see the fight.
That's actually one of the more that's the fight that I've heard a lot of people talk about that would get my interest, and if boxing wasn't such a goddamn mess, I would probably sit down and watch it. But not if you have to do this kind of fucking hype event to get attention for your goddamn event. Oh, Sean Sheehan coming through like a goddamn boss. Of course, knowing Billy Joe Saunders news, says that ring size issue has been agreed according to Billy Joe. So that might actually go on.
Yeah. It'll happen.
It seemed a little bit like a very lazy publicity stunt to get attention for a card nobody was talking about. Also, Sean Sheehan saying he fancies Billy Joe, who's a horrible human. I don't know shit about. Oh yeah, wait, no, I have heard him say horrible.
All I know is I've never looked into Billy Joe Saunders' personal life.
Yeah, no, is he the one that was? I mean, he has very Tyson Fury-esque histories of doing bad things to poor people, if I remember right, or at least just saying terrible things on Twitter, Patty Pimblett style. It was one of the two. So I'm just gonna slander all three of them. But yes, Sean Sheehan does evidently fancy him a Billy Joe to win, which I don't know about all that, bro. But then again, I don't know shit about boxing, so don't listen to me. I know more than Robin Black, evidently, but the bar is just painted on the ground. So.
Oh, Jesus, I didn't even realize Billy Joe Saunders is 30-0. Huh.
Yeah,
I knew he was a good boxer. I had no idea he was undefeated.
I've heard your boy talk about him a whole bunch. Your boy, B. I'm talking about your boy who fired Malik this week, B.
I saw that on the sub.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, he just that shows how insecure that fool is. It's like, you just can't be challenged. Even though it's like.
There's things happening on that sub that are fascinating, and I think a lot of it is high school, junior high drama type bullshit. Yeah. But a lot of it, you find out some interesting stuff on that sub if you dig through some comments. So, yeah, shouts to PF Chanks, and all the homeless cats out there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I finally saw that video with the homeless cat was referenced from. I'm like, oh no.
I still don't know what that reference is.
Can I send you the video? It's bad.
I'll watch it on the break, but I'm probably gonna have to stop using that reference, right?
No, you will. It's not.
Oh no. I thought it was like a cat. Isn't Cat the name of the intern?
It's.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's not get into it.
It's a combination of that intern's name plus a bad video.
Oh, okay. Let's not get. Go ahead and not get into that then. Oh shit, Joe Ho-Ho's, which by the way, Joe Ho-Ho is a great name, says in chat that Robin Black and Joe Lozon did the commentary for CES last weekend. They're really good. He was shocked. I don't doubt that was good. Robin Black is very good if you put him in a focused role with someone who won't take bullshit. Joe Lozon is the perfect dude to pair Robin Black with, because Joe Lozon will keep that dude, number one, in check if he says something stupid, and number two, Joe Lozon will dial in a focus for Robin Black to talk about, rather than just letting Robin Black pontificate on the universe like he's goddamn Neil deGrasse Tyson. I feel like that's exactly the kind of matchup where you can actually get some. I like Robin Black in moments. I think you pair him with the right person and you have him talk about the right thing. Yeah. I think he can be very interesting. I think the problem is when he's sitting in a chair in an art gallery pontificating is when it starts to go real fucking wild and for no one's benefit. So, probably for a couple people's benefit, but yeah, John Ho is saying that's exactly what happened. Perfect. I will actually go check out that CES card for sure, because that sounds actually very good. So actually, you know what? I'll add that as a catch for this week. or as a well-rounded, go watch that CES card. Evidently, it sounds pretty fucking good. Let's see, Chris. Is that all you had for the hotboxing episode? Because I know we went meander in there a little bit. Cool, man. Well, in that case, I will get into my first catch for this week, which was also our intro. Heavy Hands, episode 366. I'd like to start off by saying R.I.P. and pain to Connor. It's a very trying time. I know Valentina got the win, and I don't know how Denny's will ever recover. And let's give it a moment of silence. Okay. So after that, they talked about let's see, Ed Gallo guessed it also. Ed Gallo and Phil were hilarious. They talked a lot about how I'm editing my notes on the fly to keep this gimmick going. Masvidal vs. Uman was being lackluster going in. Let's see. One of the most frightening finishes in UFC main event history was that Usman finish, which is undeniable, right?
Yeah, that was nuts.
It's outside of man. I mean, there's been some horrifying ones. Like the ones that come to mind out the gate is like John Jones versus Leona Machida. Yep. Was a really scary one.
Anderson Silva, Vitor.
Of course. The Carlos Newman, Matt Hughes one was pretty weird and scary.
Barboza versus Terry Edom.
Not a main event, not a main event, but yeah. But there's been a lot of scary moments, but that KO that Usman caught on Masvidal was one of the scariest things to watch in real time of all time. Just because the way he collapsed. It was an event full of horrific moments like that.
If you happen to watch just last...
Sorry, I just remembered something I forgot to do. Go ahead.
If you just happen to watch last Saturday's main event, which we'll get into later, holy fuck, as far as... last Saturday, because we're recapping a week and a half, so, yeah. But yeah, the whole card was weird and crazy, and I think it was because of the fans being back, right? It felt that way. Yeah, it's the first time in just a long time where you just kind of get the full crowd reaction, full crowd noise.
Yeah, absolutely wild. Let me see. My reaction that I just had, I'll tell you guys now, and I'll repeat it later, is that so I broke my leg in a very similar way to the way Chris Weidman and Anderson Silva did. I had that same surgery. Actually, here, fuck it. I think you guys can see the scar on my knee.
Yep.
Which is the same scar they have. I got the bolts on the side and everything. Yeah, so I had that exact same surgery. I'll tweet out the X-rays for it that I got. What's really crazy about that surgery that not a lot of people know about, so I had it when I was 16. I got hit by a van when I was skating down a hill. Basically, was bombing a hill, turned a corner, didn't see the van because it wasn't in sight, and I know my spotter was taking a piss. Because that's what happens when you're 15. So, shouts out to my little brother. So my spotter was taking a piss, rounded the corner, clipped the van, leg went under, snapped my shin in half, broke both bones down the middle. Very similar looking to Chris Weidman's. Only difference is it didn't break the skin, since I had very tight jeans on, because, again, it was high school and I was a punk kid. So I had fucking skinny jeans on that literally, they said, saved my leg, which is nice. Because the scary thing is if it does break skin, like Chris Weidman's did, comes much higher rates of infection and and longer recovery times. However, when I got it, so I broke it, they said we can basically, this was would have been 2004 or 5? Probably 05, I think it was. Yeah, it would have been 05. I think it was Halloween 05. It was right around there. And they said, essentially, we can try and reset it, put it in a cast, see if it will heal on its own. If not, we can run a titanium rod, essentially they run it through the hollow part of the center of your bone in your shin, in the big part. And they bolt in, essentially, I have titanium rod down the center of my leg and then screws on the side where they bolt it into your bone. And I first had them reset it. The bone slipped on Halloween night, which was an awful experience. I remember screaming at trick-or-treaters to fuck off because the door kept ringing and I literally had a bone that was not connected, and I was so fucking angry. And then, so I went in for the surgery, got the surgery, and I was up and walking on crutches in 6 weeks. I was walking without crutches in 8 weeks, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
I went from having two separate bones in my leg to walking on them in 8 weeks. So 2
probably
months.
Had one of like the first or advanced kind of surgeries that they kind of just.
They said
did.
I was one of the first groups of that to have it done. Corey Hill, I think his break was right around that same time. I think he had the same thing, and that was like. It would have been like I think his was like 07 probably, because he wasn't a first season Ultimate Fighter. But yeah, I was one of the, like they said, you're lucky because this just recently became like a pretty prominent thing. We can do this, but we were giving you the option to not do it if you don't want to. So yeah, very scary, but that being said, the turnaround is not terrible. Also, though, at the time, I was, 15? So my recovery is way easier than a 30-whatever-year-old Chris Weidman, who already is very, very beaten up just throughout a rough career. So, not saying Chris Weidman's done from that, but that surgery is not a death sentence. Like, actually, that surgery, my left leg is very stable, bro. Like, you'd be surprised how much stability it gives you just like throughout it. I am way more worried about my right leg. Like, even if I break my left leg, all it's going to do is fracture the bones. It's not going anywhere. So, also, pro tip, evidently titanium doesn't set off airport alarms. Because I always expect to have a conversation and no one ever brings it up. So
you like that scene from Airplane? You got to remove all your fucking appendages in the middle. You couldn't at that point.
I always expect someone to be like, "Oh, if I scan your leg, it's making a weird noise." Nope. Evidently, titanium doesn't get picked up by most bone detectors, or at least not the ones that, or at least they're figuring it's not inside my shin bone. Maybe that might be part of it. But anyway, long story short, fucking. Chris Weidman's gonna be all right, but
yeah,
career-wise, career-wise was always gonna be an issue. But like walking-wise, quality of life-wise, that surgery and that break is not as much of a death sentence as everybody wants to make it. The part where it broke the skin is the scary part. But since he doesn't seem to have any infection problems so far, he should be pretty okay. It's gonna be a long process back to just. Walking and shit, but like as someone who's gone through it, it sucks. It's a lot of time, but it's manageable. One of the worst feelings of all time, though, I didn't think Chris Weidman did, where you try and stand on it, and the only way I can describe it, imagine if you were to break a piece of celery in half and then just twist them together with your hand. It feels like that inside your leg. That's the best way I can describe it. It sucks. I feel way worse, though, for my brother and the homie Clint, who had to watch me try and stand on it. Because that would have been way worse, where they just see the middle of my shin do this, and then me go down, and they're like, "Oh, don't move!" So, there's my leg break story, everybody. I think we've probably done it a long time ago on the show, but, it happens in MMA, so we got to keep doing it.
And in the NFL, but yeah.
And in the NBA, evidently. That one was worse.
That was the Celtics guy from like a couple years ago.
Yeah, the spiral. That was a spiral fracture. That's way worse.
And then in the NFL, Alex Smith, who just recently retired this year, he basically got Joe Theismann, same injury, 350-pound lineman falls on his leg, crushed his. I think he crushed his shin so badly it was in not dust, but you know what I mean? Just multiple pieces. And I remember he had an infection, almost lost his leg, and then 29
infections
surgeries
are where
later,
it gets
he had 29 surgeries.
Crazy.
He came back last year, played a couple games, got comeback player of the year, which is insane, and then he retired this year.
Yeah, that's
So-
wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
this Alien Labs is fucking fire. It's the kind of like gassy that is almost on the cheesy end. Like it's not quite like full UK cheese or blue cheese strain, but it's the kind of gassy where it's got like a weird kind of like aged cheese funk to it. Oh, it's so good.
Is it like Dutch, like Gouda? Just kidding. Some Amsterdam shit.
Well, I was gonna say you probably actually have had a lot of the kind of strains I'm talking about because Amsterdam loves those cheesy strains. Like some of those hazes get real cheesy. Anyway, back to Heavy Hands 366. It was really solid. We've gone all over the place with this one already. That's kind of our gimmick, right?
What's what we like to do? Like when we tell each other, "Hey man, this is gonna be a quick one," and then just subconsciously we're like,
I
"Let's
say
keep
that
ranking."
every episode, and it's almost never a quick one because I'm a goddamn blabbery ass motherfucker. I be talking, you know. I be verbose as shit.
Oh, and I know when we do well-rounded, I'll have a couple things to talk about too. And I'm just gonna go on
same.
and on.
So, all right, let's burn through some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, yes, the rest of Heavy Hands was 366. It was really, really fun. They talk about Masvidal looking like classic Masvidal, where he's a lot more hesitant and kind of avoiding the risk taking, whereas short notice Masvidal was clearly super focused on risk taking. Like that's kind of was his whole gimmick, and that's kind of what got into a title shot was just wild risk taking early in fights, or just like going real hard for finishes. And he did zero of that in the Usman fight early on, and I think that's part of what caused him to have such a different performance than the first fight. Because the first fight, he knew it was short notice, and he sold out really hard early, whereas in this one, he kind of did not much for a round, and then just got sniped. So that was an interesting discussion. They also talked about that Usman's now being a lot more of a neutral space fighter instead of just wading in over and over again like guys like Colby do or and that kind of stuff. And Masvidal just leaving a lot on the table in that fight. They also talk about Masvidal just looking uncomfortable in general at the range they were at. Like, Usman out-jabbed Masvidal, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, I was telling my brother was watching it, and he knows Usman's a fantastic wrestler, but I said, hey, ever since he's been with women, look at this jab, and just that snapping his head back like a fucking Pez dispenser. There's just such a powerful jab.
Well, and he was just constantly like taking angles in and out of them, and then following some of them with rights and fading into them. Yeah, it's just very good performance. Classic like Trevor Whitman shit. Which is actually why I tweeted out this week also that I would love to see someone with better credentials than me get Paul Rodriguez, the skater, who is notoriously great at skating out of both stances. I'd love to hear a guy like that talk with someone like Trevor Whitman or a Dwayne Bang Ludwig or any coaches that are very Jason Perillo, coaches that are knowledgeable about stance switching and that like are like know how much it affects how different things are, right? Because that is a thing in skating that is equally difficult to fight out of both stances or to skate out of both stances. It's very rare for people to be able to do it, and it's something that is a unique skill set and a unique talent. And I would love to hear, like, Paul Rodriguez is in skating the most widely known. He says he can't feel the difference, and that's like,
oh wow,
that's it's like saying, oh, I can throw a baseball with my right hand and my left hand and it feels the exact same, and I'm a pro pitcher. It is essentially what that's like, which is absolutely insane to be able to do. He's just that ambidextrous. So I'd love to hear him sit down with someone who is very knowledgeable in that kind of thing. And
I'll think this. I'll think of this on the break. I know there's some historically, as far as baseball goes, in sports, like hitting a fucking fastball going faster than 95 miles per hour is an insanely difficult thing to do. Imagine being an elite level switch hitter.
Yeah.
Like, there's not that many switch hitters in baseball, but the ones that hit elite level, that's insane to me.
Yeah, and it's very. I'd love to hear a conversation with also wrestlers who like because some wrestlers wrestle out of an opposite stance, from what I understand. Like, most of them get trained out of it, from what I understand. But there's some wrestlers who like specifically use an opposite stance for certain reasons. And I think those kinds of discussions cross sports, I think, would be very interesting, because I bet there's a lot more comparisons than people realize. And I think MMA is the most easily transferable of those, because MMA, especially recently, it's become all about your ability to fight out both stances and how to utilize the differences that comes with that, right?
Yeah.
So, I think it'd be interesting, man. I was literally watching some old, I've been watching a lot of skate video stuff, and I was thinking about it, I was like, fuck, dude, if I had better connections, I'd be hitting up Trevor Whitman to make that happen. Or somebody. I don't know. Trevor Whitman's just my go-to because I know he thinks about that type of shit. But really, any striking coach who utilizes switch stances would be fascinating to hear from. Let's see. Some other catches for me. Another one that I wanted to throw out here real quick. I don't have a ton to say about it other than it's just fucking a great episode, and you guys know why. Dan Tom, Protecting Neck, episode 268. I'm sorry.
I caught this one.
Yeah, it's just so good, dude. It's just so good. Like, Dan's just doing hard conversations on podcasts now, and despite it probably like not being great for him, as far as like access or people getting some feelings hurt kind of shit. And he's not naming any names. He's not pointing anybody out really that much. But he is like out here having those hard conversations, and we are out here supporting everybody having hard conversations. Hard conversations is how the world grows. Look at the cannabis industry is a great example of that. Like, the more the world started having hard conversations about the actual truths or harms of cannabis, the more the world learned, and we've all grown, and we all are better for it. And I feel like all things are like that, where if something is uncomfortable, the more we discuss it in public, the more we root out horrible opinions and kind of, I don't know, just come together as a people of the goddamn planet and understand other people's opinions and where they're coming from. And Dan, we're always here for people having hard conversations, and this was absolutely one of those episodes. Dan does not sugarcoat shit, especially with all the this is a lot about the Jacksonville 261 follow-up, which I mean, Dan's we echoed a lot of this on our stuff too. It's like we all kind of saw it coming with it being in Jacksonville and the way the UFC works and the way Dana White does not keep politics out of sports. And it kind of played out that way. Yeah. He also talks about how a lot of podcasts talks about a YouTuber boxing this week or the last week or two, which, like, it's embarrassing that it was one of the fights, like, one of the MMA's biggest events in a long time, and a lot of outlets chose to talk about a YouTuber boxing in a freak show event. Not a great look. And then also I just want to throw out the phrase "crouching Jiri hidden Reyes." It's my favorite.
I like that.
Every time he does the crouching Jiri bit, I fucking love that shit. And it's just a really good episode. Chris, you have anything specific on it?
I was listening to most of it while doing another thing, but he said you have to love the racist crowd in Jacksonville.
I mean, it was so we talked about that. It's so blatant.
Yeah, like even if it was just say, oh, let's boo because they're not American, I get that because that's like how American sports crowds react. But it seemed a little too kind of like quick. To me,
it was exactly one kind of Americans that they would cheer for.
Yeah,
and it was a lot of like just not even like America. A lot of American racists have been hiding behind the trope that they're not racist for like, I don't know, half a decade. And a lot of those people are starting to forget that was the bit, and they're just starting to say the quiet part out loud in public over and over again. I mean, it's weird, and the media coverage was embarrassing because everybody's, if they mentioned it, they didn't mention it. They just said like, oh, they booed Wei Li. They didn't mention like, oh, they booed all of the people who were not white Americans, basically.
Yeah.
But then again, that being said, I don't know that it would have gone that differently pre-COVID in Jacksonville.
Oh no, dude! Even if the champion was Asian American, it would still be the same race reaction.
I think if Wei Li fought in Jacksonville in 2012, it would have been not that different. So I don't know. But then again, I just have zero faith in Florida outside of literally Bill Welker. I think he is my one piece of mind.
Did you? Of course, you see what that piece of shit governor is. Just needs to be charged with.
Oh, you mean the bad DeSantis? There's the good DeSantis, TJ, and there's the bad DeSantis in Florida.
It's so upsetting what that piece of shit's doing.
Oh,
in
he's
Florida.
the fucking worst. He's gonna go to jail eventually.
We'll see.
I mean, maybe not now, because Florida, but eventually, because Florida. Like, he will eventually either die of a heart attack from meth in a hotel room, or he will eventually get caught for fraud a decade down the line, and also in a massage parlor, because Florida. So, Florida doesn't disappoint, Chris. That's one thing I've learned.
Yeah.
You only go to Florida for one thing, and it's not to not do crimes. On that note, do you have any other catches for this week?
Yeah, co-main event 451. Wasn't able to listen to all of it, but it was fantastic coverage of the whole entire debacle and brainwashing of one Joshua Fabia over beloved Diego Sanchez. Very unfortunate what's going on in that relationship, which is also unfortunate that they have a relationship. It's
problematic.
Bad. I was just hoping. I couldn't remember if this was after Diego left Jackson Wink and this guy basically ensnared him in his trap. I can't remember when.
Diego left Jackson Wink a long time ago, and it's been a series of these dudes over his career. This is not the first time Diego's hooked up with a dude that does literally this. It's just the worst, most public example of it. Like, because previously these dudes would, short con him out of money. Fabia's long conning him out of money. And it's way more destructive. And Stephen Bonner's involved, which is obviously going to end up great. So, yeah.
I don't want to talk about this. It's
very depressing. It literally bums me out so fucking bad. Because Diego Sanchez deserves better, and everyone deserves to.
Let's just hope the next time that piece of shit con artist of a coach that he has, let's just hope that he falls on his own knife next time they're doing an exercise.
Oh, for sure. Like, I hope Joshua Fabia accidentally eats the wrong kind of mushrooms and dies in a field, for sure. I'm not asking anyone to feed him the wrong kind of mushrooms. I just hope he does it to himself, like the genius that he is.
Yeah, and I don't know if I saved a thread, but someone, and this is a Redditor, they claimed that they went to high school and to college with Joshua Fabia, and they had a lot of stuff they had to say that checked out. I'm like, oh boy.
It was a lot like the story we heard about the ginger. What's his name?
Yeah.
I call him the ginger because that was his actual nickname, wasn't it?
The Alpha Ginger.
The Alpha Ginger, yeah. Spike Carlisle, yeah. I had a feeling it's a very similar vibe.
Yeah, basically what you think of him is pretty much true.
Yeah.
He's always been... Josh Fabia has always been a narcissistic, I'm in control, I'm extremely insecure kind of person.
Oh, I'd love to hear someone he's dated talk about how he is. I bet that is a...
There's caveats to that, but I'll tell you off air.
Okay. I mean, I actually don't care, and but I bet it would be. I bet it literally just could be a.
Yeah, I was just like reading, and I'm like, wow, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, I bet it's just a list of checking boxes essentially. Of like, yep, confirmed that belief you had is true. Yeah, he's the. I can feel. I went to too many churches as a kid. like especially the kind of hippie churches where like everybody's just like
all denominations, right? When they all argue.
Dog, it's not all denominations. It's no denominations. It's non-denominational. Also, very accepting. You don't get
wine during communion. It's shitty grape juice.
No, I know. And, like, I'm, like, very early on read Conman as, like, oh, everybody just wants money. That's all this is about. So, very early on.
Was up to something.
Yeah.
With,
yeah, there's a reason why I get very angry and obstinate about certain people in the MMA community. And it's mostly about just shilling for money because I fucking hate it. That's why Alex Jones drives me goddamn nuts. Like, at least just be honest, bro. Just, like, Alex Jones is so close to being honest that he just needs money to survive, so please buy fake pills, and the world is ending only so you can keep buying my fake pills. So, yeah, it's a lot of that.
Mentality.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get us back on topic because I know I'm all over the place. But
yeah.
This weed's real good. I'm going to go ahead and switch strains because this Alien Labs is not helping me focus. Go ahead.
I'm going to mention everything as far as the limited notes I have. I mentioned the catches. Pretty much everything, I guess, is a catch that I have written down here. There's really no can't miss because I just kind of was in between.
Word. Anything else on that CME?
Yeah, they talk about Jiri Prochazka and how awesome he is.
Yeah. With his dope hair and his just wild ass attitude at 205.
Yeah, they were they're saying this dude has had 2 fights in the UFC. He's already basically getting a title shot. They said, when have you really heard of that? Granted, sure, the division might be a little bit shallow as far as maybe not necessarily the talent pool. There's just not enough number of talented guys. I know Rakic was calling out Prochazka, and Prochazka's like, no, this dude is rude to me. Fuck him. I'm away from my title shot, which I don't blame him. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the Prochazka fight in a bit, but yeah, this guy is really exciting and good for 205, and I just hope Dominick Reyes, spoiler, is okay based on how he landed on his head.
So he tweeted out, and he seems to be doing all right. I saw him give a statement or whatever, which is good at least. But then again, like, it was a bad knockout, but it was just a wild fight too. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
And then also Chad and Ben mentioned, notice how everyone who fights John Jones, they start losing a lot after they fight John Jones, which is true.
I would argue it's true because a lot of those dudes took so much damage.
Is that an
beating
edible
John
you
Jones.
ate, or did you smoke? Because you got something on your mustache.
No, that was a sip of that beer that I just fucking took a sip of.
I was like so confused. I was
that was the dude that just walked off screen a second ago, brah.
Heard. So all right, guys, we'll be right back after this break.
That's right. And by break. Never mind. I'm not gonna out loud make that joke. Yes, I poured more of this delicious Stone Exotic Destination IPA. It's actually this is very good.
I need to get one of those 4 Brewers little tulips or goblets.
You got to sign up for their Patreon, and you will get one.
Should. But yeah, that's all I have for CME. It was good.
Hell yeah, man. I absolutely loved it. Let's see. Some more honorable mentions for me. Writing and fighting. Nancy Kidder was back this week, or last week, I guess, technically at this point. And she did 2 different episodes. She did one with Josh. I almost said Rosenthal. It's Rosenblatt. Josh Rosenblatt about his book, I believe. I still have to catch up on that one, but I did catch the Writing and Fighting Hurts So Good, a discussion about pain in combat sports, where she had Kyle Green, Tanisha Singleton, Julie Kedzie, Jordan Famon, and Harrison Hartfield, as well as I think there was somebody else that I did not write down, so I apologize if I'm forgetting any names. But it was an interesting discussion. It's kind of about, weirdly enough, it's actually a little similar to the conversation that the Fight Site guys have been having about toughness in combat sports. It's kind of a weird parallel podcast to that, where this is specifically about pain in combat sports and how essentially as MMA athletes they have to regulate the ratio of like a certain amount of muscle tearing is good because that's how you build muscle.
Yeah.
So like you have to push yourself to a certain degree to perform well, but it's very hard to balance that between not over pushing yourself and like damaging your performance. And so it's a lot of conversations around that. Kyle made one of my favorite points, which was that it's early on he mentioned that the card this weekend was really wild, but it wasn't. He said it probably wasn't like one of the best cards. It was just super wild, and there was a lot of shocking fights, but the fights themselves weren't really competitive or like very back and forth kind of thing. But they talk a lot about in this episode Kyle's papers that he wrote about kind of what role pain plays in the gym and how, kind of the ability to mitigate that while still improving. And it's just a lot of kind of those discussions in an open forum. I found it fascinating. And it's the exact reason why I love that people are having these kinds of conversations on mic so that people can... It makes me think, man. Like, very rarely do MMA podcasts make me, like, think about stuff hours later or days later. But the stuff that the Fight Site guys are doing, as well as Nancy Kidder with Writing and Fighting is doing... this conversation just kind of made me think about, like, a lot more about just kind of the different roles and balances when it comes to that. And I just find it very informative and interesting, especially with someone like Julie there, who, like, Julie talks explicitly about how that kind of stuff was a constant struggle throughout her career. Like, what benefit am I getting from going to a male college wrestling class and getting fucked up by everybody versus it helping my confidence when I do scrabble with other people, and like that kind of dynamic. And it's just I found it very, very interesting. So
I like that. Yeah,
it's very cool, and it's exactly why I think Writing and Fighting is one of the most interesting things in the sport. Nancy Kidder is, like I've been saying, and like we've been saying, Nancy Kidder is someone we should all cherish for doing a cool thing in this sport, and it's not getting nearly enough credit for doing it.
I feel like it's a very good and precise social, like, analytical kind of just view, just take really just on.
Well, and not even like, that, it's more of just like a discussion. Like, there needs to be more like just candid, open, like classroom style discussions about these topics so that we can all as a community think about it differently, right? Like, that's how the whole thing with college or with going to classes in general is that you get different perspectives and you like kind of you mull things over and form your own perspective and kind of think about other, like, just how to form an idea around a concept, and without having other people to bounce your ideas off of, and without us all doing it as a community, kind of in a bunch of fucking echo chambers of dudes yelling at the wall on the underground. And that's how we ended up with a lot of racist shit. So, it's very cool to hear people having like weird and kind of uncomfortable conversations out loud about combat sports, and then also for athletes to be participating in them, like Julie Kedzie, where it's like can't be comfortable for Julie to be like not only processing those emotions but also talking about her candid feelings at the time while doing that kind of stuff. So, but it's very informative and it's very interesting. So, more of that, please, everybody. I fucking love it. Let's see, Chris. Do you have any other honorable or catches for this week?
I mean, all of mine are. So you can continue through format if you want to go to honorables or.
Yeah, why don't we? Or because you said the rest of yours are more honorables, right? Honorable mentions.
I'm mentioning everything.
Okay, cool. So on that note, then I will get to my other catch of this week, which is the Level Change podcast, episode 121, which I am now realizing I should have put earlier because that is actually going to be the clip on our break coming up. They talk a lot about... Did you listen to this one?
This is Zane and Eddie, right?
No. The Level Change podcast is Mookie, Alexander, Steffi, Crooklyn, Haynes.
God damn it. It's because all the bloody elbow stuff I get on the same feed. and I just see the logo.
I know. It's the Bloody Elbow Presents feed. So this is Steffi Haynes, Steffi Haynes, Mookie Alexander, and Victor Rodriguez.
Victor Rodriguez, yeah.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's just a really fun show. I don't talk about it nearly enough because of our record times. A lot of times it lines up weirdly, and like I try and get to as much as I can, but Friday shows are always like kind of on the bubble for me, depending on when we record. I've listened to a lot more lately now that our schedule's changed, and I love this show. It's very much like Mookie and Crookie, except Victor brings a little bit more, I don't know, kind of just swag to the, for lack of, that's a terrible, I don't like that.
Just say swagger.
I hate that more. He brings a certain je ne sais quoi to the program, I would say. And they also do previews on this episode. So it's always interesting to hear if Steffi's picks change between Care Don't Care and this, as well as to get the actual picks from Mookie and Victor. Because low-key, Mookie and Victor's picks are pretty solid half the time, which is like... I always like getting a diversity of picks, especially on podcasts where people explain why. A lot of times the answer is because they didn't do tape study, and no, I'm not saying for them specifically. I'm saying in general on MMA podcasts, a lot of times people's answer for a pick, like us most of the time, is, "Oh, we didn't do tape study." So I just feel like this is how this is gonna go based on these two people I know. But yeah, very good episode, and just a lot of fun. They talk a lot about. The other thing I love about this show, much like most Bloody Elbow content, but especially on this show, I think because of Victor, because Victor is not afraid to ruffle feathers. This is a lot about John Jones leaving FRM and Malky basically being the worst. You guys will hear the clip on the break. It's a great clip, but okay, secret. We're going to do some Bert Kreischer secret time stuff right now, because I don't necessarily... I mean, Steffi said it on the podcast, but I don't want the Twitter drama, but Malky evidently originally got... You know how Malky signed John Jones, Chris?
You told me this before. I forgot.
So I forgot about this, and this is known a long time ago, but this was back before his, like, New York days of...
Actually, you know
MMA.
what? I did listen to this. I'm fucking stupid.
Okay, yeah.
Because she kept talking. I remember Steffi it's when I was actually closing up at work. I just had my AirPods in as everyone left, and I was just locking shit up, and it just took me like an hour since listening to it. Okay. Yeah, I listened. I just couldn't write any notes because I'm like doing shit.
No, yeah.
That's why I remember
you.
Distinctly her talking about Jones's original agents, and yada yada.
Yeah, his original agent from Jersey, which Malky poached John from by paying, and like there was a big dispute, and basically Malky paid the dude out.
Oh, shit.
Like he just paid him off to get John as a client. And then she also says that off the record, she knows some stuff about. She doesn't specify, and she doesn't say the word off the record. She says, I'm not going to specify. I believe I'm not. This is me paraphrasing, so please do listen to the episode if you want the exact quote, and do not quote me, because I am literally saying out loud right now, I am paraphrasing her paraphrasing. So please do not quote me on this. But she said something along the lines of that the relationship between Malky and John was always rocky, and that was known kind of around. Like, it wasn't reported on, but it was known. And there's reasons, and it is stuff that's the reasons. Is, like, kind of vaguely how it was put. And that's me quoted. You could tell. That was a weird enough paraphrase that you know that I'm paraphrasing. Anyway. Really interesting to talk about that.
There's also another fighter that Malky, has in his agency that went ahead, let's just say, right, of Jones in scheduling a fight. Isn't that kind of like a big reason why Johnny left?
Oh, weird. Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Weird how that works, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm supposed to say the fighter's name.
No, I like it better the way we did it. Also,
yeah, that's why I know. Okay.
I have blocked all of those managers. Both of the Kawas and Ali are blocked on our fucking Twitter. I can't deal with them anymore. I've had too many interactions with them.
No, because, just remember Mike Perry is brave for what he...
You know what? The two worst things the Kawas ever said is, number one, Abe Kawa, obviously, said that the bravest thing Mike Perry ever did was be a white dude to use the N-word. Great take, white guy. Or not black guy. We'll put it that way, since that's actually more accurate. Number two, the worst take Malky Kawa ever had. The motherfucker said he had gumbo. I believe if it wasn't that he had gumbo at the airport, he had gumbo near the airport and in New Orleans, and said gumbo's bad to one of his clients who's a New Orleans football player. And I was like, bro, I went to Fort Lauderdale. I had a Cuban sandwich at the airport. It was terrible. That doesn't mean Cuban sandwiches are terrible. And Malky's like, who eats a Cuban sandwich at the airport? I was like, what the fuck? It's the worst. They're the dumbest people on the planet. They're the fucking stupidest people. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Matt Joya in chat is clarifying that it's technically ethnically mixed Mike Perry is the way to refer to him. I forgot. Yep. Ethnically mixed, perpetually single Mike Perry is the new way to refer to him, I believe. Hopefully soon jailed or inpatiented Mike Perry is kind of my take. On that note, Chris, I don't have any other catches this week, and I don't have any can't misses. Everything was just pretty fucking good. Oh, actually, I'm lying. The other catch that I had this week, I totally just lied to everybody listening. I mentioned it earlier. I just forgot to move it up, which was the Fight Site How Culture. Hold on, I have to paste it before I can read it. It is the Fight Site How Culture and Institutions Influence Combat Sports. This is the part 2 on Toughness podcast that they did, which is Iggy, a.k.a. Tunin, as well as Ed Gallo and Zach Makovsky, the UFC fighter, or former UFC fighter. And, oh my god, is it Hacks? It's Hacksarized, right? Matt, correct me in chat if it's not Hacksarized. I believe it's Hacksarized. I didn't write it down this time. It's Hacksarized. I'm positive. But yeah, it's very interesting. They talk about Dan Gable bringing a toughness mentality to wrestling coaching, which is a big thing that Ed talked about. And Zach co-signed on, which essentially, like, he says that Gable's whole mentality to wrestling was, like, Gable wanted he said that his goal was he wants one day to train as hard as, Dr. Hacks. He said his goal was to train as hard as he could until he passed out one day, and Gable never met that goal, which is a fucking crazy person goal, by the way, Dan Gable. But also, amateur wrestlers are crazy people. I've known enough of them in my life. They are headstrong individuals, we'll say. But it was very interesting hearing them talk about the different types of athletes. Like, a lot of this discussion turned into a discussion on not only just culture and differences in culture in combat sports, but also like the different types of athletes that, like, the Russian system, for example, has in wrestling versus the American system, or whether, like, let me see. It actually discusses also the Cuban system, which, of course, we discussed the Yoel Romero episode they talked about on Rogan's podcast way back when Rogan's podcast was not just racist white dudes spouting racist white dude shit. Actually, it was right. It was right around the time it turned into that. But this was a rare episode without it. Yeah, just really solid overall. Let's see. An interesting discussion they've also been kind of pontificating in a couple different ways is the concept that like not all motivation and strive and like toughness when it comes to combat sports is necessarily from poverty or even from like being from a tough or difficult background. Like you don't have to have gone through like traumatic events necessarily to be tough. And it's something we see in the diversity of athletes in the sport. Like you get dudes like Nick and Nate Diaz who've been through traumatic events throughout their life, or you get a lot of people in MMA have been through a lot of unfortunately, a lot of female combat sports athletes have talked about how they've been through pretty traumatic events in their life, and that's kind of what led them to it. A lot of male combat sports athletes as well. Kevin Randleman is a great example. But there's also just like the BJ Penns of the world, who was just like a well-off dude who was just like really good at it and just kind of fucking, and like BJ Penn showed incredible toughness throughout his career. But they also talk about how toughness, they mentioned this in the first part, where toughness doesn't always apply one-to-one. Where like BJ Penn showed toughness in parts of his career, but also BJ Penn showed a lack of toughness by his inability to consistently prepare for fights.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like also an interesting take. So yeah, it's just a lot of those kind of concepts getting thrown around, and that's why I compare it a lot to the writing and fighting discussion. Is these are the kinds of discussions I would love to see more of in MMA, where they're basically people having a very like and to be honest, these are people who either are in classrooms currently or who are teaching classrooms currently, who are talking about this stuff. Like, well, I don't know. I know I believe Ed and Hax are both doing post-grad stuff right now. I believe Ed is. I know Ed's doing like some kind of. These are people who are very like involved long term in education and have been in the education system for a long time as students, and it's just interesting to hear very much like classroom discussions around MMA. Right, is what a lot of this feels like. Where there really hasn't been this that I've heard on air, even 3-4 years ago, like. This seems to be more of a prevalent thing recently, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, shouts out to the podcasts that are doing that as well. I mean, let's just hope it becomes more, prevalent.
It's cool,
it's
right?
Occurring, so.
Like,
yeah.
To me, it really just feels like it happens in all other sports, right? Like, there's tons of this in, like, college basketball, college football, pro football, even tennis. Like, there's lots of, like, intellectual discussions about the way the sport functions and the way the sport's built and the hierarchy of the sport and all that kind of stuff. We really haven't had that about MMA at all, because MMA's been so, like, kind of separated from the collegiate system inherently, right?
Yeah.
Aside from wrestling, of course.
And MMA is still fairly new.
Super new. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. So I just find it fascinating, and I fucking love it, man. So the more people doing it, the better. And sign me the fuck up. Let's see, Chris. I have a new show that I will get to very briefly, which I am hyped on. Sean Sheehan has created a new podcast on... Matt Joya in the chat says that the main reason why the fight site is doing dope stuff is because their Shab is their top analyst. Just for a pro tip in case you guys didn't know.
You talking about analysts, B? Never met them.
I have a feeling Brenshaw's been a couple analysts. I have a feeling Brenshaw's been an analyst once or twice. Oh, I hate that joke. All right. So on a totally, on a completely different note, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Severe MMA podcast premium. They did a new show. Sean's doing a new show called The News Headlines with Sean Sheehan, where essentially he reviews recent news stories and the reporting of them, which is one of the coolest parts. So Sean essentially goes through and he takes a look at recent headlines from big MMA companies and kind of just audits them, both discusses them and is like, yo, what the fuck are you writing this on a couple of them? Which I think is a great advantage to the sport. I hope Sean keeps doing this. Also, Sean says if subs are right, he wants to make a daily. So please, everybody, if you want to make my day, go subscribe to Severe MMA, because I want to hear Sean Sheehan audit MMA headlines every day, because good God, is he going to find some problems if he does it daily. Because the more daily he has to do it, the more you're going to have to deal with, like, oh, Conor McGregor tweeted about... Actually, he probably can't cover that. Ronda Rousey tweeted about having a baby, or stuff like that, so... Yeah, I'm very much hyped on this. The things that he did talk about in this episode is TJ being out of the Sandhagen fight. Yep. R.I.P. my birthday. The terrible reporting around the TJ Dillashaw dropout, where like people were saying like, oh, TJ is reportedly maybe not going to make the fight. Oh, wait, TJ is totally going to make the fight. Oh, wait, TJ is definitely not going to make the fight. Here's the picture. And like everybody having conflicting reports and everybody kind of having rough reporting. Sean actually confirms in this episode that Severe's editorial standard for a while, it's changed a little bit recently, he says, but for a long time, the only stuff they would announce as like breaking news was stuff they either heard directly from the promotion or stuff they heard from Ariel. It's like the only stuff they would report direct, like report on as breaking, because they knew like they are two very solid sources, which at the time when they're talking about, Ariel definitely was a very solid source. Ariel still is a very solid source. It's not fair to not call him a solid source. His opinions are very skewed, but his sourcing and his like breaking of news is very legit. He's actually one of the best in the industry at like. I mean, it's because of his connections, and it's like very gross how he gets it. But his actual announcing of fights, like that dude's journalistic record on not fucking things up is remarkable, right?
Fork laser.
Yeah. I mean, of course, aside from being paid by a promotion at one point.
Can you see me now?
Speaking of which, the Schmo, he also mentioned in this episode. He talks about how he'd never interview or have anybody on an episode who's a gimmick, including, like, from Colby Covington to the Schmo. Which, yeah. I mean, we've been telling y'all about the Schmo for a while now, right? Everybody now is turning on the Schmo because he got mad at Ariel, because him and Ariel had beef. But we've been saying the Schmo is bought and paid for by the UFC since at least since the waiver, right?
Well, yeah, and since he
before that, actually, no, I've been calling that fucker Nardwar I was gonna say Nick off, but I don't know what a Nick off is. It's when Nick Diaz and Nick Newell fight. I don't know. Yeah, but I've been calling the Schmo a Nardwar knockoff for I don't know how long, and really he's just doing a lazy Nardwar impression with the Hunter S. Thompson gimmick is all it is, and it's embarrassing that so many people let him do it because he's nice. I think the problem is a lot of the people knew him before he did that shit, and then he started acting like that, and then people felt like, oh, he's nice to me, but now he's doing this stupid shit, so I gotta like not be a fucker to him. I don't know. It's embarrassing, and everyone should be embarrassed. Let's see. The only other things in this episode, they talked the Wyman leg break. They talked the Athletic being great until they let all the MMA writers go. Which, yeah, it's a goddamn bummer. And then they also talked the McGregor charity situation and the DC Juniper Paul situation, which is all fucking embarrassing. So, yeah, I really like that show from Shawnee Podcast, and I hope he does more of it, because I really fucks with it. I would love to see more auditing and, like, a dissection of the actual articles being written in MMA, because I think we need that kind of criticism in the sport. I think it would make the sport better, right? Criticism never makes creative content worse. You can address it or not, but it doesn't make it worse.
Doesn't. Let's see. Yeah.
So you have a bunch of... I was going to say, you have a bunch of honorable mentions, right?
Yeah, I just have two I just want to mention, and then that's it for me. Cool. Speaking of on the topic of Shawnee Podcast, I listened to Shawnee Podcast, the episode he recorded yesterday, but in his local time in Ireland, or European time, which is like 9 hours ahead of us. He discusses Prochazka's win. I'll just state it like that. And he just said, how violent was that on a scale of 1 to 10?
Violent AF was the scale. Yeah, 9.5 sounds about right.
Someone had asked him, like, hey, does Reyes inevitably go to Bellator? And Sean is like, no, he's still clearly UFC material, which, yeah, I mean, the dude kind of rocked Prochazka in that fight.
Also, yeah, Yuri tanks so much crazy damage in that, and it was a fun fight. It's insane to think. Also, this is episode 309.
Thank you. Shawnee also shouts out, remember the time when Artem Lobov headlined a UFC fight against Cub Swanson? It's crazy times. He also said, how far past his prime will John Jones have to be to lose a fight? I don't even think I think he's already close to that.
I think he lost the prime. He lost the fucking Reyes fight. Yeah.
So he says that, and he says Joshua Fabia naming his gym the School of Self-Awareness is the most ironic thing in MMA.
Yup.
Yeah. After that, this is quick. I listened to Best Camp of My Life, titled the Mortal Kombat 2021 Spoiler Cast.
That's right. Which have I addressed this on this episode that I have not put it? I did, right? I addressed it earlier.
Yeah, you need to edit it still.
It's so much editing, dude. We said how many times we said his name? We said his name like 30 times on that episode. Yeah. So, and girlfriend Karen kept whispering at me into the mic. So, yeah.
I remember I heard something and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's girlfriend Karen trying to tell me she's fucked up, but trying to do it subtly, but she's doing it at the mic.
I remember she said one thing, and then I think she said something too loud, and then me and Kyle looked at each other like that, like, what the fuck?
Yep. No,
like, all right.
100%. I wish you could have seen the looks I was giving her during it. You guys won't hear it. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Fernanda and her fiance,
Rodrigo Campo.
Yeah, or as she calls him, Boo Boo.
Yeah, I love Rodrigo.
She said this movie was entertaining, but there's an issue when Sub-Zero and Scorpion are side characters.
And when Sub-Zero had cum eyes.
No, Raiden, but yeah.
Oh, okay, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah. She said, how is this Cole Young character a former MMA champion? We talked about this, but the only fight it shows is him being terrible at said fighting. And then Rodrigo said, yeah, he got Gary Goodridge with that crucifix.
Dude, 100%. I'm so glad. So I have not listened to this yet, and I'm so glad you did, because I've been wanting to. We're moving this up to a catch because I've been wanting to watch this, and this sounds great.
It was entertaining. And then, because I remember I listened to the one where they watched the Mortal Kombat from 1995, where she thought,
yeah, that was a great episode.
I forgot his name. It's like Kerry Nagawa, the guy who plays Shang Tsung. She's about how hot he is. He's like, well, he's not hot this time, but at least Cole Young is. This is kind of funny.
Yeah,
and just hearing
Fernandez.
And Rodrigo said, I remember you made this joke too. Once Jax got his metal arms, Rodrigo's like, well, the first thing I was thinking about was, how does he, and she's like, oh, yeah, of course, masturbate. Yeah, we know that's what you want to talk about, Rodrigo. He's like, no, I was thinking also, how does he shower? Do his arms rust?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, the Jax 1-to-1 is so fucking there.
I did, and then remember me, of course, making the subtly racist, hey, it's John Jones. But then I looked at his history, I'm like, Makad Brooks kind of looks like John Jones.
Yeah, he's got it. I'm not gonna say similar build because that seems inappropriate.
I just remember there was that one part of the movie where they were like trying to get away from Sub-Zero, and I'm like, Cole, I got a spot in the octagon we could hide under. As they're like running away, it's like, okay.
That commentary got a little away from me because of I was dealing with like chaos on my side.
G6. Remember the beginning of the movie? He already says some racist shit. Do you remember what he did?
No, I don't. I might cut that.
Okay.
How bad is it?
I'll tell you off there.
Oh no.
It's not good.
Oh no. To be fair, G6 knows he's on air and he knows he's not. He doesn't have a name, so he likes to say fucked up
he doesn't, dude. He did that and
reactions.
smiled all like, in it, like
No, I know the exact facing game because he likes fucking around. I'm sure my reaction was just, oh no.
he like said that and just burps like into the mic. And he's just like, Coors Light.
Yeah. That means it would have been worse than fuck the checks, which he just randomly threw out during the Kevin James movie one time.
He must love Jiri Prochazka.
Oh
yeah.
my god. Okay. Well,
that's
you guys might hear that during the edit, or if not, DM me and maybe I'll tell you if I like you. Oh god, Chris, that's I don't remember that. I'm very curious to edit this episode now. Also, if I didn't remember the beginning of the episode, I must not have heard it.
I don't think you heard it. Kyle and I were both like, "Whoa!" And I was like, "There it is."
I must not have heard it because it must have been dealing with Karen bullshit at that point. All right. So honorable mentions for me. Now we're not talking about whatever theoretically racist shit G6 said. God damn it. The MMA section, UFC 225. I'm not going to use this goddamn real name. MMA section, UFC 25. Or Vegas 25. Really solid episode. I just really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Let's see. The Fight Set Combat Sports News Recap UFC 261 breakdown was really good. Iggy's the best, and I just really like that show. I want more of it. The Fight Set MMA podcast, episode 46, super solid. They recapped the PFL card, and also RIP Shaman Mirage. Also RIP Rug. And they talked the what they referred to as the UFC egg card that happened last weekend, which... not far off, bro. CME episode 450 was really solid. UFC 261 was one of the most memorable events. Talking about George Paul, talking about the UFC not paying fighters, that kind of stuff. CME live chat for April 28th, 2021 was super solid. CME Power Hour for April 30th, 2021 was solid. Chad is vaxxed and street legal and Ben planned a night out on the town for him, which I recommend listening to. Super dumb, but super funny. They also
I like the term street legal.
Yeah, I'm going to start calling myself that now.
Oh, I know my coworker says, are you vaxxed and waxed?
I hate that one.
Yeah, she said, I know it's terrible. I'm like, yeah, it's like a little aggressive.
No, yeah. Also, you should start asking her for street legal. That's not going to be creepy. Yeah, I won't do that. Yeah, I would avoid it. Inappropriate. At least if she's younger than she's older than you, it's not gonna go well either. Hey, Sean Sheehan. Actually, speaking of Sean Sheehan, I just saw this comment in chat. I was about to say Severe MMA episode 309 was pretty solid as well. I talked about the crowd putting a bit of extra pressure and jeopardy on the fighters and the refs and the judges, which that's something I didn't think about is some of those refs and judges also clearly showed a pressure problem with a live crowd because that they were not used to. Because there were some weird cards early on that event, so that was a good point from him. Also, his Q&A was solid. Jack Slack podcast, episode 25 and 26 were very solid. I really enjoyed his Whitman commentary.
Yeah, I listened to 26, actually, I remember.
Yeah, it was dope. It was mostly about TJ's cut taking out of the Sandhagen fight, RIP to my birthday, and John Jones leaving the Kalas because they're geniuses, and what fighters could benefit from a weight class change, which I thought was interesting. Come On Now, episode 276, super dope. I like that a lot. A lot of talk about Dana going after Adam Hill of the Las Vegas Review-Journal for the UFC 261 coverage, and how DC is a grown man just letting himself get trolled by a YouTuber, and whether or not the UFC is actively involved in that, because they probably are, because that's not how that works on a broadcast. You don't just let your commentator get up and then fall in with cameras. Pro tip, everybody who's curious about why DC went over there, anybody noticed the 400 cameras around him? Because I sure did. And then last but not least, god damn it, y'all, the MMA Nerd Podcast may be just about dead. Oh, the Q&A was the Q&A you were talking about for Severe MMA earlier.
Oh.
Well, then there we go, Shawnee. Podcasts? I did not see, my notes were pretty sparse on that Q&A, so I'm glad you pointed it out. I just noted it was a good Q&A. So, Shawnee Podcast in chat, help it out. Last but not least, Chris, RIP to the MMA Nerd Podcast, which we have not talked about in a while.
Oh, no.
Ashley has not been doing an MMA podcast. However, the Silly Little Sith Podcast, or I believe it's just the Silly Little Podcast, because she goes by Silly Little Sith on Twitter. Also, I hate saying that. I feel like I'm slurring every single part of that. But Silly Little Sith might be the most fucking slurrable phrase of all time. Oh, I hate that. Anyway, she is back on episode 3 to do an MMA Nerd episode where she talked about UFC 261. Ooh, and also Sean Sheehan dropping breaking news in chat that a new Chasing Pack episode is coming out in an hour. Which, if you guys know me, I am a big fan of the Chasing Pack. It's a podcast series where Sean Sheehan looks at Sean, who is the co-host for that? It's I know dude's name. I'm a big fan of him. I'm gonna mix him up with every other Severe guest. Oh, why can't I remember dude's name? Sean's gonna drop in chat for a minute for me. Jake Smith? Is it Jake Smith? It's Jake Smith, right? It's Jake Smith? That's why I'm fucking that up, is because it's not Jake Smith from The Writer and the Fighter are also RIP, but Ian O'Neill, thank you. I knew I was fucking that up.
Let's see, what is it, 7 a.m. over local time in Ireland?
Oh, yeah, also, Shawnee, let us know what time in Ireland it is, and let us know what the last thing you drank was.
I'm assuming it's 7 a.m.
Also, but by the last thing you drank, I mean booze related. I don't care if you had some milk or some coffee or some shit. Let's see. So, right, back to the Silly Little Sith podcast. Episode 3. It was cool to see her go back to and cover some MMA stuff. She talked about UFC 261, the Weidman leg break, making her want to throw up. The Valentina fans being the worst and thinking everyone doubts her and is a hater all the time. The card just feeling huge as a whole. And she also talks about the enjoying having the energy of the live crowd back. And that everyone who likes the sound of the impact of the... Like, everyone who likes the non-crowd events are kind of hipsters. Which I don't necessarily disagree with. But I 100% like no crowd. So,
I mean, I like hearing the noises.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like the crowd does very little for me because they ruin so much. Like if the crowd would not boo and the crowd would not yell knee and the crowd would not woo, then I would be fine with the crowd. They do all of those things too much, so I'm not fine with the crowd. And also, I've been in those crowds. You've been in those crowds.
Yeah.
I don't like those crowds.
They're bad.
Yeah. Also, while we did miss the UFC event in May in 2020 that was supposed to happen, in retrospect, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I missed much. Because if I remember right, that card ended up being trash.
The main event would have been fire, because the main event we were supposed to get was Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier. But other than that, yeah, because that fight was great. But yeah, we didn't get that fight. And can you hear me, Chris?
Yes, 100% can. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading.
I was like, wait, where'd he go? Did he?
No, I'm
freeze?
100% reading. So Sean Sheehan giving me an update, 6 a.m. where he's at. He fell asleep mid-show and just woke back up. Like a goddamn gentleman. I feel like that's how most of our live chat viewers go. Like, I feel like Iggy and everybody passes out halfway through and sometimes shows back up. He says bars been closed in Ireland for around 6 months, so haven't been drinking much lately. Which, man, that's a very different culture than around here to only drinking bars. And then, let's see. He had an orange IPA last week and it was pretty nice. Sean Sheehan, I'm going to need an update on if you know what the brand of that orange IPA is. Because what the fuck orange IPAs are showing up in Ireland? That's got to be something from here, right?
I don't know.
I don't know what... First off, the idea of an Imperial Pale Ale in Ireland is already kind of weird based on how Imperial Pale Ales are... Like, the entire idea of IPAs are there shipped from Britain to the United States for the aging process. I know it's not how it's done anymore, but Ireland not known for their IPAs, so for it to be an IPA and a fruited IPA and it's orange, I don't know. I hope it's local. Please name drop the bar and or brewery.
It's definitely not a bloody orange from New English Brewing. That'd be cool if it was, but
Dude,
it'd also be an impossibility unless a person from that went to my brewery took it back with them and then somehow ended up somewhere.
Magically transported it somewhere.
Yeah.
I might magically transport some beers to some shows just for fun. I might do that. Or someone I know might do that. Not me. Someone else I know. And by magically transport, I mean super legally transport. Anyway, on that note, Chris, we're going to take a break and come back to fucking...
We'll do about maybe a 10-minute recap.
Yeah.
AKA one fight.
Yeah, we got to talk about... Yeah, we got to talk very briefly... Oh, man. Sean Sheehan says he got in a supermarket, which means it should be interesting. So I'll look for that retweet tomorrow when he sends it, because that should be very, very... you know what? If I can find it, I'll get it. I bet I can get it at Bevmo. I bet Bevmo or somewhere will have, like... If Sean can get it at a supermarket, I bet I could get it out here somewhere. So on that note, we're going to be right back. We are, very briefly going to talk about the, what was it, Chris? The,
Reyes versus Prochazka.
That's right. UFC on Vegas 25 or whatever fucking stupid numbering system everybody's using right now.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't do numbering systems. Also, maybe we'll briefly talk about a couple of the fights happening this week. Since we're taking the week off, I think there's like 3 or 4 whole fights that are worth talking about between Bellator 1 and the UFC. So maybe we'll talk about those 4. But on that note, y'all, we'll be right back. In the meantime, you can listen to this clip of... Oh, God, what's my break clip? I do this every time. I should really... I have a space to write this down on the notes. Chris can verify. I just don't do it every week, because I do the clips last minute in case somebody has a better clip. The clips this week. Oh fuck! I literally pulled up not any of it. Okay, fuck it. I'll just do a thing where I hit a button and watch the clip. The clip this week is the Level Change podcast. It is Victor Rodriguez talking about why the Kawas are the fucking worst. Also, pro tip. And, Sean Sheehan looks like he just sent us the picture via DM. So we will tweet that out on the break. I will send out that picture of Sean's... I'm going to go ahead and rate it as to drinkability. I'm curious to see what an orange Irish IPA looks like. So we will be right back. And in the meantime, enjoy this clip. And also enjoy, I might sprinkle a little bit of Brody Dahl from the Distillers. Because I've been doing a lot of listening to female punk music this week. And Brody Dahl from the Distillers is top 3 female punk singers of all time, in my opinion. Also, top 3 just greatest voices of all time. God damn. Her and Tim Armstrong. Oh my God, their voices are pretty. Nope. I'm going to cut off that sentence right there. Everybody knew where it was going. We'll be right back.
Liked by the sound of violence.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. The Cowboys are the dumbest men in MMA that are not fighters. I swear to Christ, they are the funniest people. Like, it would be even funnier if they weren't playing with people's money or messing up people's careers. Now, I remember a couple of, I want to say maybe 2 months ago, maybe around that time, there was, somebody on Twitter, I don't know, some rando on Twitter mentioned something about like, hey, how come if this person's such a good MMA manager, we don't see anything outside of fight purses? We don't see things like, I don't know, endorsement deals and other types of legacy things. Oh, you know what? That was Steffi Haynes. That was you. Yeah. Because, you know, it's so goddamn true. Like, if these people, like, you hear Malky talking about how he's repping NFL players. Like, okay, who? What are they doing? How are they growing outside of this, outside of what is being given, which is a pittance from the UFC to the fighters, at least in a relative fashion, when you know good and well that that's not the only thing? Where are the real MMA management moves that one would expect to see in other sports?
By the sound of violence.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. The Cowboys are the dumbest men in MMA that are not fighters. I swear to Christ, they are the funniest people. Like, it would be even funnier if they weren't playing with people's money or messing up people's careers. Now, I remember a couple of, I want to say maybe 2 months ago, maybe around that time, there was, somebody on Twitter, I don't know, some rando on Twitter mentioned something about like, hey, how come if this person's such a good MMA manager, we don't see anything outside of fight purses? We don't see things like, I don't know, endorsement deals and other types of legacy things. Oh, you know what? That was Steffi Haynes. That was you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's so goddamn true. Like, if these people, like, you hear Malky talking about how he's repping NFL players. Like, okay, who? What are they doing? How are they growing outside of this, outside of what is being given, which is a pittance from the UFC to the fighters, at least in a relative fashion? When you know good and well that that's not the only thing, where are the real MMA management moves that one would expect to see in other sports?
sound of violence.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. The Cowboys are the dumbest men in MMA that are not fighters. I swear to Christ, they are the funniest people. Like, it would be even funnier if they weren't playing with people's money or messing up people's careers. Now, I remember a couple of, I want to say maybe 2 months ago, maybe around that time, there was somebody on Twitter, I don't know, some rando on Twitter mentioned something about like, hey, how come if this person's such a good MMA manager, we don't see anything outside of fight purses? We don't see things like, I don't know, endorsement deals and other types of legacy things. Oh, you know what? That was Steffi Haynes. That was you. Yeah. Because, you know, it's so goddamn true. Like, if these people, like, you hear Malky talking about how he's repping NFL players. Like, okay, who? What are they doing? How are they growing outside of this, outside of what is being given, which is a pittance from the UFC to the fighters, at least in a relative fashion, when you know good and well that that's not the only thing? Where are the real MMA management moves that one would expect to see in other sports?
All right, we are back.
Yeah, we are.
And we are going to talk about some fights that happen and some fights that are going to happen. A lot of which are, you know, mildly interesting. On the break, though, there was some very interesting beers. Shouts out to Mark Fellows and Sean Sheehan, who tweeted us what they're drinking. Or I believe it was what Shawnee was drinking last night and what Mark is drinking number 2 tonight. The second beer he's got going, which, I mean, Mark Fellows is obviously winning that contest every single day of the week, but that's kind of an unfair contest. That being said, dude, I talked a lot of shit about Shawnee Podcast Orange IPA before the break. That thing looked pretty good from the artwork.
Yeah, I see it. What is this? Plunged orange pale ale. Punchy and refreshing with a tangy orange sharpness. I want to see what this is from.
Yeah, it looks very solid. Like, that looks like that could easily be Southern California artwork, which is, like, kind of impressive for... I don't know, I guess everybody's probably just gimmicking everything from out here, and it is a little bit Sculpin-y. Not Sculpin. What's the Ballast Point with the helmet beer? It's the
what's
lager.
that called? Oh, IPL Fathom.
IPL Fathom. Yeah.
So, anyways,
it's got a little bit of a Fathom vibe, but
it's called Lidl GB. It's like a bar restaurant chain based out of Wimbledon, London, England.
Okay, so it's okay.
So it's like a BJ's Brewhouse thing, but it's like that's their bar restaurant chain.
Pro tip: if it's an English IPA, that means I need Sean Sheehan to tell me whether or not it is at all bitter.
So when I hear some of these malts I've never even heard of, or some of these hops I've never heard of.
Okay, go for it.
Rakow, Admiral, First Gold, and Mandarina Bavaria, which is like, German orange.
Yeah, that's some fucking German and English hops, my guy. That is a very, oh my god, that I know exactly what that beer. Chris, let me think about what that beer tastes like. There's got to be a San Diego equivalent. That malt bill is a English IPA malt bill and an English IPA hop bill, I would assume. Or I know it's an English IPA hop bill. I'm assuming it's an English IPA malt bill, which means it's probably not. It's way sweeter than it tastes like a 6% double IPA. Is how I would probably describe that. Mark Fellows probably knows what I'm talking about, if he's still around in the chat. That's I would assume it's very, very, very sweet, and it is not that, like, fruity. Like, it's probably fruity, but it's probably more on the, like, fruited double IPA spectrum than it is on the fruit-forward hop spectrum. You know what I mean?
I don't mean to call. I'm not going to call this person's name on Untapped, but this photo of them pouring their beer made me laugh. Do you want to see how they poured their beer?
Sure. Can you show it to the camera? I don't know if it's gonna.
Hold on, I'll try to block their name and their face. That's their pour.
Well, that's a bad pour, my God. It's a very bad pour. No, so now I am very curious to get some Sean Sheehan descriptions of what he would describe that beer. Then again, Sean Sheehan has very Irish taste in IPAs, so like a lot of the IPAs he's probably familiar with are English or Irish IPAs, which are super different. Sean Sheehan, if you are in chat, have you ever had a BrewDog IPA? That's my question for you. I feel like you guys would probably have distribution for BrewDog, or at least would have seen BrewDog around. I think you might be just young enough to where you wouldn't have known about BrewDog, about like the early run of BrewDog, in like the.
Still can't believe I visited one.
Yeah, well, and BrewDog is also very weird because like it had a way bigger American following than it did.
Yeah.
Like European and Irish and English and just like other side of the country or other side of the world following in general. Like they got big play over here because they were doing big hoppy stuff in a pretty aggressive way early on, in a way that only really Stone was. Okay, Liddy is a German supermarket. Wait, does that make? Now I have to know, is that a German? You know what, Chris? While you talk about the stuff that we forgot to mention, which is the well-rounded show, or the well-rounded stuff you want to bring up, why don't you do that while I go ahead and Google the beer Sean Sheehan was talking about and whether or not it's actually German.
So well-rounded, let's see. The MLB The Show server is being terrible. Besides that,
dude, I have heard some problems about.
That's
MLB
why I was
Show.
telling my friend Jordan. I was like, hey, if I'm honest, I kind of wish it didn't come to Xbox because then everything would be fine. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I played this game yesterday. Trevor and then Jordan were over. We were grilling. I was grilled some hamburgers. We played this co-op game. I ended up getting a second controller, and then Jordan brought his, called Tesla versus Lovecraft. Very fun.
That's very cool. It's like a Diablo-ish.
Yeah.
It's like a Diablo-ish, like
loot mechanics of like Metal Slug, where you just like turn around and go, and you could have like.
Yeah, very grindy, loot focused, like kind of RPG style game. It was cool when it came out. It was very bare bones though. Is it more game focused now, or is it just very much like arcadey?
It's pretty arcadey.
Okay, because that's what it was when it came out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the one game I want to get, and I'm just gonna say fucking and get 2 more controllers down the line, and they're expensive. I want to get that game that's like the spin-off of Little Big Planet. It's supposed to be an amazing platformer called Sackboy. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, of course.
PS5. It looks rad because like everyone at home, like on the weekends, they all like if I'm not at work, I have a day off, they're always down to do like some couch co-op shit. And it's not like you could say, "Oh, let's all play Diablo." That'd be kind of a little ridiculous, but something that's kind of easy to pick up and it's kind of chill. And then I also played Mortal Kombat 11 for the first time in a year. I got the PS5 upgrade, and that looks phenomenal. With the free upgrade, it's been fun. I went ahead and said fuck it and bought the John Rambo character for the hell of it. And, of course, he's fucking ridiculous. But
yeah, no, that is 100% ridiculous. I 100% agree. Sorry, I got distracted about a message from Sean Sheehan about I'm not gonna bring it up, but hey, everybody go follow everybody listening. Go follow every single one of you listening. Go follow Sean Sheehan. If you're not following Sean Sheehan, or if you blocked Sean Sheehan, go follow Sean Sheehan. He's doing good stuff. Let's see. I gotta figure out this plunged orange pale ale. Do you have any other honorable mentions other than that, though?
No, that's it for now.
Oh shit! Mark Fellows saying in chat he drank the Sink the Bismarck. Dude, the Sink the Bismarck is that's the Tactical Nuclear Penguin Part 2, if I believe right? Tactical Nuclear Penguin is 100% was the strongest beer ever for a while. They're basically Tactical Nuclear Penguin. So Chris, they're basically what Brewdog was doing was making ice beers, where essentially they'd brew a beer, they'd freeze it, they'd distill it through ice they basically ice distill it, and then
wasn't that kind of how Bud Ice tried to do?
Yes, but it's way less of a marketing gimmick. Well, it's actually equally much of a marketing gimmick, but they were doing it to distill it to 40% and shit that.
So what is a freeze?
And they were selling it. So you know how alcohol freezes before water?
Yeah.
Or sorry, water freezes before alcohol?
Yes.
So you freeze a bottle of vodka, you can ice distill vodka. You freeze the bottle of vodka, you pour the remaining amount out, and that's no longer... You now have basically Everclear.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's probably has to do with what the temperature does of just the sugars and just the grain, the alcohol, the ethanol in there, right? Is it to make it
well, it's essentially, yeah.
Whatever. Or is
it's
it
essentially to cut the water out. You're just removing all the water.
I see. So you're undiluting it.
Yeah, you're literally distilling it by just removing water.
Yeah, this beer, it says Tactical Nuclear Penguin, 32% ABV, 90 IBUs.
Yeah, and Marcus saying in chat that he actually he's talking about the Sink the Bismarck, which you tried in Tokyo once. Which the Sink the Bismarck is it was I believe the follow up to Tactical Nuclear Penguin, which was he says 41%. Yeah, served like whiskey, 30 ml at a time. So basically a shot at a time.
Say a 10-ounce bottle of this, 32%. I mean, I'm sure you'd get. I don't know if you get alcohol poisoning depending on you'd get
16-ounce bottle, or actually maybe 12-ounce. No, I can't remember. You know what? I can't remember what size bottle the TMP was served in, because I know it was served in a paper bag was their packaging for the bottle. So it kind of obscures. I think it was either a 16 or 24-ounce bottle. So you're like, it's about a bottle of vodka. If you double the size, it'd be about a bottle of vodka. So you figure vodka's half diluted, so it's about the same. So people who don't drink a bottle of vodka, but people who can drink, you can drink a bottle of vodka in a night if you're really going hard. Chris, you act like you never drank a bottle of vodka before between two people.
No, see, what I'm thinking is I'm just trying to think, I know I've gotten fucked up drinking a lot of liquor, but you don't pay attention to the ABV when you're just doing shots, right? I'm just trying to think of logically, what is it like if you had just, say, a 16-ounce bottle of that, ABV, you know what I'm saying?
I do. I believe I found the beer, finally. I believe this is Plunged Orange from Shepherd, I'm going to go Name, Neame.
Oh, no, I mentioned it earlier.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if you saw it. Also, Sean Sheehan, bad news for you, bro. These BA reviews, the Beer Advocate reviews for this beer.
Dude, I showed you the guy who knew how to pour it.
Oh, is that what that was from?
That was on Beer Advocate, yeah. That's what's blocking his face.
Bad news for your beer, Sean Sheehan? I think it might be problematic. On that note, Chris, I think we got through do you have any other well-roundeds? My only well-rounded is Grown Local, because that podcast is dope, and that's all I've been listening to, aside from Knowledge Fight. Oh, and skate videos, obviously.
I think I mentioned this before.
Oh, fuck Enjoy, the skate company. They did some very racist shit to Jerry's.
Yeah. Tell me what happened with that. Is that the thing I saw in your notes? Something about, or was this a St. Archer thing? You said one of them.
Two things actually about skate companies this week. First off, Enjoy Skate Company can forever suck a dick and never ever make $1 of my money. They had two separate dudes in an outro credit sequence in the year 2006. They decided it was a good idea to put Jerry Sue in the middle holding a title card, and they have two separate dudes holding his eyes from different sides. It's bad. It's very bad. It would be less worse if they had Jerry Sue doing it himself. It's horrific looking when they have two white dudes do it to him.
Where was this on again?
In the outro credit sequence of the skate video Enjoy Bag of Life.
Oh, man.
In 2006. So if you guys want to go look that up and feel very bad about the skating community, that's an option. The other thing I had to mention was another skate video. I don't remember what it was. I got so mad about the Jerry Sue thing. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. Baker 3 is tight. About to bang y'all over the head. I don't know. But anyway. Oh, Sean Sheehan is unblocked. So I joked earlier that Sean Sheehan was blocked by a certain beer drinker in chat. Didn't mention that it was Mark Fellows. I'm glad that got sorted out. Good times. That actually very much makes me happy, you guys. That's very funny. Chris, on that note,
let's talk about some fights.
I was gonna say we need to segue away from.
In my instance, 2 fights.
Yeah, I have a whole, maybe 2.5 fights I'll talk about on this card. You want to start with this? Let's start with the top of this UFC Vegas Fight Night 25, Reyes versus Prochazka, whatever the fuck naming scheme we're doing at this point, because everything's broken and we're all gonna die. All right, Chris. So, this main event.
So I'll talk about the co-main real quick. Holy shit!
Why don't we start with the main and we'll we'll work our way down to like the couple we're gonna do.
So first things first. G6 is not a fan of Jiri Prochazka for where he's from, but I think he'd be a fan of how he fights.
I also remember how during the commentary G6 forgot about that bit entirely and didn't know what we were talking about.
I remember.
He's like, oh yeah, I guess I did that. Which you can tell how convicted he was when he first did it. But yes, absolutely, dude. So I will say, impressive performance from Jiri Prochazka. Like, especially since I thought when Dominick was going to start throwing back in big ways, I thought that fight was going to change pace a little bit, and it did not. Jiri Prochazka's like, I'm here for it, bro, and just kept throwing with him forever. And tanked crazy damage.
What's crazy is the amount of shots he tanked. I know he got rocked pretty good that one time, but dude, after the fight, his face looked clear. It's like, what's he made of?
He's got that, like
Eastern
that European,
like
yeah.
Silva, right?
Well, or the Eastern European. Fedor used to have a similar thing too. It was like the Eastern European build for some reason.
A lot of
dudes
be
just
sort
don't
of genetics
work
or
out.
bone structure thing. I'm not even kidding. I don't know how to explain it. Like when some fighters' skin, it's probably Khabib too. Because remember, he's never bled, which is still blows my mind because he's been hit hard, and Khabib has never bled. That's fucking nuts. That's still one of the most insane facts to me.
True, but Khabib rarely gets caught glancing blows. Khabib either gets caught square in the face and tanks it, or he just doesn't get hit. Yeah. Whereas Jiri in this fight even got clipped. Jiri just has a weird ability to tank stuff. Like,
kind of the way he was striking was kind of like,
oh, it's wild as shit.
If Dominick Cruz, I don't want to say if Dominick Cruz hit for power.
No, it's Phil Davis, bro. It's Phil Davis. He's power Phil Davis. Like. He's like, if Phil Davis tried to work a pressure game, but like behind weird ass combos of like feinting right hands into up kicks and shit like that. That dude feints a right hand into an up kick at like 3 or 4 times every fight. He's so weird, but it's great.
This is the thing that I think that happens next. Fantastic performance by Prochazka. Fantastic art by Dominick Reyes. The dude wouldn't stop until he got knocked out, which he did, unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
However, I think Dominick Reyes, they'll probably have him try to fight Rakic next, which I don't want that for Dominick Reyes. Not that it's not a fight he can't win.
Rakic it's just not. It's not. That's not a.
You got to give him a step down.
It's weird match.
Fight,
yeah, that's
recovery fight.
Yeah, that's not. That's weird matchmaking to do that.
I think Prochazka clearly is getting the next shot. He'll fight the winner of Glover and Jan. I think Jan will beat Glover. I think he's just too big and strong, especially in the clinching up the middle, and the way he kind of can just separate. It's just those kicks to, can Glover win? Sure. I don't think he's gonna win standing up, but then again, I think Jan's is too physically strong. How do you see that fight going? I know that's coming up pretty soon. I see Jan winning, and then I see his fight versus Jiri being just chaos. Not them looking ahead of Glover, but I know he can win the fight.
Yeah, I mean, we all know the problem is definitely like whether or not Glover can get him down, because otherwise, that's a no from me, man.
That's why I'm picking Jan. I don't think I'll be able to take him down.
Well, I think Jan will absolutely get taken down, but I think it will be inconsequential, like late in an early round kind of thing. I think Jan will absolutely have to work his way back up to his feet at some point, but I also think Jan has gotten at least somewhat better at doing that. So,
speaking of working way back up to the feet, the one thing didn't surprise me the most, because I know there are a lot of
Dominick Reyes' takedown at the end of that first round.
So
right?
that was good. What really wowed me
Yeah.
was how Prochazka, just from being flat on his back, was able to muscle his way and literally just lift off Dominick Reyes off of his body and get back up.
Some Dom Cruz shit. I mean, Dom Cruz. What are we talking about? Derek Lewis. Yeah.
He's basically like, oh, it's time to get up now.
Yeah.
And it just blasts with just a shit ton
he basically
of
just pushed up. He anti-pushed up him off of him.
I saw that. And even I think Michael Bisping was like, wow. He's like, he just got up.
It's
like,
stupid.
What strength?
It was stupid as shit looking. Yeah. It's the kind of shit where you see it and you're like, that looks
weird. You see Dominick Reyes just like this, like, what the fuck?
It looks like a clip in reverse, this type of shit. Yeah, exactly.
So, Prochazka is a fucking problem at 205.
Absolutely. That dude, I guarantee you, is getting tested a lot sometime soon. Or else everybody else is getting a lot thicker.
So shouts out to him. Good performance. Can't wait to see him fight whoever is champion.
It was a banger of a fight, and he's always been just a blast. Like, we've talked about a bunch of his Ryzen fights back in the day. Like, he's always been a banger.
Fight current Bellator light heavyweight champion Vadim Nemkov.
Yeah, he fought. He fought Nemkov. When was it? 2015.
Yeah.
In the Ryzen tourney. That was that 2015 tourney where he beat Nemkov and then dropped the fight to King Mo. That was the fight King Mo won in the first round with a punch, where he clipped him, and then he got the win over King Mo in the Ryzen, what was it, 15 fight. Wait, they both 15? Am I fucking losing? Oh, 2015 and then Ryzen 15. That's what it was.
Then we had, I wouldn't want to face this guy from Georgia, and of course we're talking about the country, not the state, unless you're Patty Pimblett and you hate everything from Georgia.
Oh my God, Patty Pimblett, calm down with the language.
Patty Pimblett.
Also, have less of an opinion if you don't know shit, bro. Although that's pretty. It's also pretty ironic for me to be saying that.
Yeah. Is it Giga or Giga? I forgot. I think it's Giga.
You better pronounce Giga, or else everybody's gonna make fun of you right now.
Yeah. I'm not Jay-Z, guys. I'm kidding. Giga, like Giga Drain from Pokemon, whatever. Giga Chikadze. Holy shit, the Giga kick to Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson is as tough as they come, but man, that was immediately you just see him go, ow.
I'm amazed Cub didn't at least attempt takedown in that minute plus. He just didn't do it. He was. There's a lot. I think part of it was the stance switching from Giga. There's a lot of stance switching in that minute. I think that's kind of way. I think the feints and the stance switching made it pretty tough. But fuck, man, you would have thought he would have at least tried to grab a body lock at some point, but just got murdered on the outside, and then you could see Giga setting it up. It was pretty nasty.
Yeah, fantastic performance from him. I think he was trying to call it like Max Holloway or something like that, from what I remember.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, has he... What's that, his second win ever? Has he won another... Oh, it's because Max Holloway called... No. Okay, it's his... Wow. Jesus Christ. Okay, it's his 6th win in a row. So, okay. But... his 6 wins are against dudes who he was supposed to get wins against, and a lot of those were split decision. 2 of those were split decisions. Yeah, no, he's terrifying, and he's clearly getting way more comfortable in the cage. His last 2 finishes say that. He is getting super favorable to matchmaking, that being said, right now. So, UFC is, by the way, doing that. I don't know if people notice. UFC is matchmaking the people they like so fucking favorably right now in a way they haven't done since the Paige Sage era. I mean, it's getting very obvious. Who did they just book goddamn Smolka against?
Oh,
Sean O'Malley?
Sean O'Malley, yeah.
That's fuckboy matchmaking is what that is.
Yeah, I saw someone, I actually saw the, I forgot his fucking first name, Auger, and then it's Matt Wells of the Fight Site.
Pat Auger.
Auger, thank you. Goddamn, not Auger. I knew.
It's spelled Auger. It's pronounced Auger.
You know why? I thought it was you're all saying Jose, like a Brazilian first name for Jose.
Yeah,
like
no, it's
R-O-G-E.
Yeah,
no, I swear to you, I thought that was the last name. I thought he was a Brazilian guy.
I should start.
I never knew it was him. God damn it.
Yeah, I should start spelling some of those ones that I'm saying out loud. But yeah,
So,
it's Pat Auger, which is Auger. Of the Body Lock, who's one of my favorites. He has the Fight Business podcast, which I love.
Yeah, I listened to them. They had a
fuck. You didn't even mention it.
I forgot until now.
Okay. Well, you know what? Guess what? It's getting added to the list of stuff you're mentioning.
It's a 7.5 minute long video, but it's informative. They discuss just why this matchmaking makes sense, and then why it also doesn't. They mostly are in favor of it, but I did see a comment say, I haven't seen the UFC try to protect a prospect like this in a long time. But it's like, I don't even think O'Malley's a prospect anymore at this point. It's just a...
No, but there's somebody they think they can make money off of if he does well.
Yeah.
Like, they look at it...
They put him up against, Almeida, who they figured would knock him out, which he did.
Well, no, it's because they don't understand the sport. Also. Which is why, like, they're... I mean, let's be honest. The UFC isn't who's booking Sean O'Malley. Endeavor, the company who's looking for people they can promote as stars, is looking at him like he's name any of the fuckboys on pills who raps badly, who are white. Any of them, Chris. Pick one. I don't care. Pick one.
Oh wait, what did you say? You said
any
white boy?
Any fuckboy on pills who raps badly while being white. What's the dead one?
Oh, little pump? No.
I mean, sure, dude.
I don't know. I know
you
you're
can say Lil anything, and I would say yes.
There's too many Lil. I know what you're talking about. He's a mumble rapper,
Yeah.
and he like
any of the fucking white dudes. That is what they are trying to make Sean O'Malley into.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's 100%. They know that they're marketing him the exact same way. Well, right. Also,
yeah.
But he's never done heroin because he's a pussy. I mean, you can't say that and then not do heroin and not be a pussy. Like, that's not how that works. You can't be like, oh, I do heroin, I'm not a pussy, and then not do heroin. Because that then, by your own logic, makes you a pussy, bro. Also, don't hold your children while saying that, you fucking child.
Moron, yeah.
I hate Sean O'Malley. But that being said, they're 100% pushing him like the laziest bullshit white kid rapper, and he's gonna get treated like it, and he earned it.
Sean O'Malley, remember he like called out Dominick Cruz. I want to fight Dominick Cruz. He wants to fight me, and then Cruz rightfully so just ignored him. So then he's probably like, "All right, guys, I got to fight." And it's against Louis Smolka. No disrespect to Smolka.
No, it's because Dom Cruz was 100% never going to take that. But also, the UFC needs, like, they're looking so hard for stars right now, and they have notoriously
Yeah,
faded.
because see what's happening to Connor.
Well, no, they've throughout time notoriously faded Lee Smolka. Shouts to him fighting Paddy Houlihan in Ireland, in Dublin, on the Conor McGregor card, if I remember right. Or on, like, whatever that first big Ireland card. I'm pretty sure that was the Lee Smolka Paddy Houlihan card. And you know they were not trying to have Lee Smolka win that fight. And so they're fitting him once again after his big comeback. It's gross, and it sucks, and I hate it. And that's why you've seen most of Twitter react the same way, I feel like. So fuck that bullshit. Anyway, Chris, any other fights you should mention? Do you care at all about the random Marcos Lana whatever thing, the illegal upkick? I actually didn't see this. I'm gonna be honest.
I didn't see it at all.
Great.
So I'm not going to comment on it out of respect for both fighters. But
Also,
mostly out of respect, I'm not going to comment on anything. I'm not going to say she's faking it like some people said.
No,
I don't know. I didn't see
also,
it. I don't.
Not who cares, that's not the right sentiment, but like, who, I don't know.
We don't know. We don't fucking know if they're faking or not. Like, Aljamain Sterling, could he have exaggerated the pain he had against Peter
I think
Yan?
that's always...
Maybe, but I don't know. I
think it's always a bad... I think it's always a bad, dumb argument. And I think
it's always a shit take.
Yeah, it's always a shit take. 100%.
It's always a shit take. Is it possible? Yes, but you can't prove that.
I will say Loma, though, did get the win over Sam Hughes. Because Sam Hughes decided to try and clinch Loma the whole fight. Great plan.
Loma? I'm thinking Lomachenko. You're confusing me.
Loma Lubumi.
That Loma. Thank you. I was so confused for a second. I was like, what?
Sorry.
I was like, Lomachenko fought? I was like, what the fuck?
No, Loma Lubumi. I'm a big Loma Lubumi fan. I think she's fun as hell. And it was a very ugly fight. It was a very, very questionable game plan from Sam Hughes, but yeah, Loma got the decision.
Oh, Lordy.
Weird card in general. All right, so what else? You looking at what else we got this week?
Yeah, so I just noticed.
No, wait, first. Okay, yes, perfect. That's exactly what I was wanting to get to.
On Thursday, I just noticed what else is on this card. I'm off Thursday, so I'm definitely watching this.
Mm-hmm.
This is really So the main event of this is.
Go ahead and say the event.
What?
Go ahead and say the event.
So the event, of course, is PFL 2021 number 3. Regular season. It's going to be on ESPN2.
That's right.
And the prelims are on ESPN Plus.
Also, I've been kind of sleeping. I've been watching the good fights in PFL. I've been skipping most of the other stuff.
Local start time, Pacific time, 2:30 Pacific.
Are on ESPN.
No, that's
to be
the
noted.
event. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Holy shit! No disrespect to any of the fighters, but let me just say I had no idea that Kamaru Usman's brother Muhammad was actively fighting.
Yeah, no, he's actually been actively fighting for a while. Fought in LFA. He's legit. I mean, okay, I don't want to say legit, but like he's a legit
He's a heavyweight.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's been fighting for a while. He's like, if you look at his record, he's like been fighting incredible people, incredible organizations.
Ooh, I'm really intrigued. So you got Muhammad.
It was Titan. That's what it was. It was Victory in Titan.
Holy shit! Then you got Kayla Harrison fighting Mariana Moraes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There's Larissa Pacheco. Is on the card. Oh boy! I almost said it out loud. I'm pretty sure if you said her name 3 times out loud, picture. Never mind. I was gonna make a horrible joke about her.
And then the
shout to Cindy Dandois OnlyFans.
And I have to mention Justin, as Curtis Blades calls him, Justin Big Titty Willis, is on this card. You remember what happened with him?
He got QAnon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That also happened, if I remember right.
Oh boy, they got him then. That's a shame. Well, hope you get knocked out peacefully, Justin.
Oh Jesus! I'm not confident enough that was him. That I want you to say that.
And hopefully you get wrestle fucked then, because that's clearly your weakness. Anyways, you got Fabricio Verdum fighting Renan Fajeda in the main event.
I legit don't know who hit it.
Yeah, which I could lie and tell you I know all about Henan Theta.
I legit don't know who he is.
I'm sorry, Henan.
He's never fought anyone I've ever heard of.
So, I don't know.
Wonder who.
I'm kidding. That's mean.
So I have a fun test that I'm gonna do. Let's do a fun test, Chris. If I was to Google management companies for Fabricio Verdum.
Oh no.
What are the odds if I pull up Dominance MMA, he's on that list?
Oh, well, I know Verdum is homies with Kadyrov.
I mean, he's definitely gotten paid to visit there. But let's see if he's actively on Dominance MMA's roster. I'm going to go ahead and look this up right now as we're talking, just to confirm. Let me do Control F for Verdum. Oh, weird. Chris, I have a weird fact about this PFL card, that it was formerly match made by Ali Abdelaziz when they were the WSOF. I have a weird fact about this main event where Fabricio Verdum, a 9-1 fighter, is fighting a 6-2 heavyweight that no one's ever heard of. I have a weird fact for you. He's managed by Ali Abdelaziz, the fucking former matchmaker for WSOF.
The rat snitch himself.
Weird
formerly
coincidence.
Known as Robert Brighton, formerly known, or Britain, you know.
Dude. Fuck.
Oh, man. Alright, I'm done. I don't want to talk about that. That's upsetting and that makes too
You know
much
what?
sense.
Fuck the rest of this card. We're not talking anymore about PFL.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I was already going to talk about Bellator 258
I'm so
Archuleta
mad.
versus
I'm so
Pettis.
mad.
Meaning one Archuleta versus
I didn't realize that was the matchup. I'm so mad right now about that.
Yeah, no, I'm already ignoring all this.
Oh. Okay, yeah, let's talk about the Bellator card, which is actually very good. This is the best card this weekend by
and
far.
remember why Jack Slack and I don't like Bellator? Because we can't have nice things?
Yeah, R.I.P. Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
But this is by far the best card this weekend.
Still a decent looking card, though.
And that's bad, because it's
and
not
you know
a good
happen?
card.
This is what's gonna happen. The next time we record, and a week from now, not this weekend, you're gonna be like, Chris, what do you think of Bellator 258? I'm like, great card. Never watched it.
Yeah. No, 100%. I know you hate Bellator. Although it's growing on you,
working,
right?
So maybe I'll have it on my phone.
I feel like Bellator's growing on you, though, a little bit.
No, like, that's the thing. Every once in a while, there's a fight I want to watch and it turns out dope. But for me, the reason why I mostly have ill will towards Bellator is every dope fight I want to watch turns into a snooze fest.
Or people get kicked in the dick.
Someone gets kicked in the balls, yeah.
yeah.
I remember when I saw
so
Busasi and fucking Lima, I'm like, fuck this shit.
Dog.
I was like, no.
Well, and to be fair, even the card that we saw that was one of the best Bellator cards, which we saw in a theater.
Fun, that was legit. Yeah.
But also it included fucking Michael Chandler's leg just not working.
Yeah.
Like 2 minutes into a fight. And also Chael just wrestled fucking Vanderlei for 3 rounds.
And then the casuals behind us. Oh, he's only 5'8". I could take him.
Oh, dude, there were so many fat white dudes that were so ready to throw down. And weirdly, all of them had redneck accents somehow in Southern California. I don't know how that works.
Oh, they were visiting from the Redlands.
From the East County. I was gonna say East County, but yeah, either one. Hamul.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Fucking anyway. Let's see. On this card, Lorenzo Larkin is fighting Rafael Carvalho. That's actually a very dope fight.
That's a good fight.
Holy shit! Why is that not on the main card?
Because Michael Venom Page sells tickets.
Oh my god!
Beating up cans.
I hate MMA so bad, dog.
By the way, how
Patricky Pitbull's fighting Peter Queally, which is also a good card, which is also a good fight. But not better than Lorenzo Larkin versus Rafael Carvalho. I'll tell you that right fucking now.
You to guess how old Michael Venom Page is? What would you guess? I'd say 30, 31. He's like 35.
4? I was gonna say 34.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's about right. Because he was like he showed up on MMA like at like 30-ish, 29-ish.
And again, Adesanya looks like he could be 25, and he's like 32. So go figure.
Yeah. Well, also Adesanya had a long kickboxing career too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, man, Lawrence Larkin versus Javier Carvalho is actually a fucking banger of a fight. I can't believe I've not heard anybody talk about that fight this week. That's a banger.
Maybe Jack Slack is leading the charge of anti-Bellator slander.
I mean, to be fair, they fucking hate Jack Slack for some reason, so I don't know. Go for it. Javier Stotts fighting Josh Hill.
Oh God, who's Rumble fighting? Oh no, poor rest in peace, Jose Augusto Azevedo. Oh boy,
dude, I don't know about that.
Unless he's a jiu-jitsu guy, then
how old is he?
Be going down to the ground.
He's from Brazil.
Yeah,
he's 29. He's 6'3".
Oof.
And he's won by all chokes. Oh, Rumble's fucked.
No.
Rumble's about to get choked the fuck out,
y'all.
This
is gonna be peak Bellator.
What is
Rumble Johnson is choked out? He taps, and it's like Mauro Ranallo going crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. And pull up best fight odds right now and make y'all some money because there's no way this is a favorite, right? Plus 350 on 5 dimes, just straight. I've never seen this dude fight, but I'll put plus 350 money.
Hey, once you know this, my brother's in the other room watching Peaky Blinders. I'm like, hey Kyle, you want to make some money? His name is Jose Augusto Azevedo.
Dude, okay, you know what, Chris? Oh my God, I cannot. I want to watch any fight of this dude so bad just to see what he looks like because it can't be that bad.
Let's wrap this shit up because I'm kind of over this.
Yeah. Let's wrap this anyway. So on top of that, we got tricky Pitbull's fighting Peter Queally.
Lesser Pitbull.
Yeah, Peter Queally. Good for him. And Juan Archuleta, Sergio Pettis is gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a banger, but like, it's a good fight. And then what was the other? There's one. Oh, right, the trash UFC card, the one that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it.
Well, that's right. It's on my birthday, and they did this to me on my birthday.
Yeah, no.
I went from having Corey Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw on my birthday to having.
Oh, and remember, you could have seen Donald Cerrone fight Diego Sanchez with.
I'm very glad I don't have to see that. That being said, Alex Morono is going to murder Donald Cerrone. Everybody's going to feel very bad about it afterwards.
Oh, by the
Alex
way,
Morono, if everybody doesn't remember, out of Fortis MMA, is going to jab and then cross and then kill Donald Cerrone. Super bad.
Shouts out to the 3 fights on here. One fight, Neil Magny versus Jeff Neal. Should be interesting.
That's actually kind of a banger.
Dan Tom tweeted out Brendan Schaub having another Schaubism. He called Jeff Neal, he referred to him as Neil Jeff. Neil Jeff, the mythical fighter. Another fight on here that intrigues me, Diego Ferreira versus Greg Gillespie. Holy grappling.
That's going to be very fun, although, again, I think Greg Gillespie's going to get... Actually, he might be able to wrestle the shit out of Diego Ferreira.
And then you got Amanda Hebas.
If he does, he can box the fuck up.
Amanda Hebas going against our girl Angela Hill.
You already know who you're pulling for. Team Angie. Hey, you know what I did, Chris? I went to UCSD. I got vaxxed twice. I'm double vaxxed with the Pfizer. And guess what? Both times... I've been going to Pfizer. I really like that. I don't know why I've been doing it, but it's my favorite. I've been here twice with that Pfizer, dog. And you know what I found out? Well, you know what I decided to do? Both times? Rocking the Angela Hill USADA shirt.
Nice.
I figure, hey, if I'm going to get stuck by the government, I'm for sure going to be wearing a shirt that says USADA, promote violence and resist drugs. I'm for sure going to be wearing that shirt if I'm going to get stuck. So shout out to Angela Hill because it's a great shirt and Angela Hill's the best, and we don't root against Angela Hill on this podcast. The 2 people we don't root against ever, without doubt, Angela Hill and Leslie Smith. Leslie Smith, good luck against Chris Cyborg. I have a shoey bet on that.
All right, well that's all I got.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't want to talk about Ben Rothwell versus Philippe Lins?
Not really.
Fair. That's very fair.
Nah.
Yeah. I'd take a nod dog on that as well. So on that note, I feel like it's a great place to wrap it. This has been silly as shit, but I've had a blast. Sean Sheehan, your beer looks great, but your BA ratings are questionable. So, you know.
I just hope you know how to pour beer, unlike that one fellow.
No, I know that for sure. Sean Sheehan can at least pour a Guinness for sure. And also, I'd love to hear, Sean, if you've ever had a Brewdog beer as well, because I'm curious, like how much play Brewdog gets across,
or how racist it tastes. Kidding.
Oh shit! They did do racist shit. You're
Remember
right.
that? Yeah,
I did forget about that.
Racist shit,
oh, you're right. Hey, everyone, stop talking about BrewDog and fuck that company. I forgot about that. Also,
that's why I was kind of confused. You kept talking about. Like, wait, doesn't Chris know?
I totally forgot that was a thing. Also, I said fuck. I said fuck. Enjoy the company, Chris. We forgot to mention fuck St. Archer, the San Diego brewery.
Yeah.
St. Archer, if you guys don't know, I found out this week, thanks to an interview with P-Rod, Paul Rodriguez. He talked about how actually St. Archer, the fucking alcohol company, was founded by a guy who's anti-drug campaigner.
Oh, cool.
So, fuck that dude.
Wait, it was founded by him?
Yes.
Oh, then he's one of like those straight edge surfer dudes, and he's like, wait, but people love beer.
He was the guy who went to P-Rod and all the athletes and founded it. The fucking anti-drug campaigner.
Bro, but beer's not a drug, bro.
Bro. Weeds, hey, thanks, Mark Fellas. Hey, bro, I'm pretty sure we should put everyone in jail for cannabis, but, I want you to do this beer bong on top of my car while we drive.
Yeah. Hey, if I was ever in the water, which I'm not because I could barely swim and I would never be able to surf, I would just quote Kenny Powers. If I ever found that guy in the water, I'd be like, mahalo, you fucking surfers, goddamn nerds.
Yeah, that's a good quote.
And just get a knife out and cut his fucking cord.
Yeah. I'm going to Shabooms.
Oh, yeah. Going to Shabooms.
All right. Well,
Where's Shane Dog? Jason Snakes need him.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and KP, we doing this all week. You just jealous.
Oh, well, on that note, I thought it was a great time to wrap it, but it's been brilliant. I love y'all for sticking with us. Anybody who made it this far, you guys are our favorites. You know that, though. Shouts to everybody who's hanging out in chat. Sean Sheehan, Mark Fellows, all the homies. We always appreciate it, and it's been a weird Tuesday episode. I apologize for our weird schedule. It's been all over the place, and unfortunately, it's probably going to keep being all over the place for a little bit. But we're starting to narrow it down. We're starting to tighten it in. Hopefully, once we get to summer, it'll get a little bit more regular now that San Diego is getting a little bit more regular. So, in the meantime, though, you guys can always find us. Please hit us up with your podcast suggestions. We love hearing them. Anytime anybody mentions one, I always add it to my list and I always listen to it. So, or I try my best to. If I don't, tweet it at me again and tell me I fucked up, and I'll do it. But you guys can hit us up at TSOVpod on Twitter. You guys can send us an email at sovpod@gmail.com. On YouTube, we do playlists every week of the stuff we try and talk about that's available on YouTube. And in the meantime, I am going to go watch skate videos. So, Chris, you got anything else?
Well, that's it for me.
Till next time, go watch Shorty's Guilty. Fuck Nazis. And we out. Late.
Liked by the sound of violence.
about it all.